What is Juno New Origins, right? So this is formerly Simple Rockets 2, and basically, I'm not going to say it's like a KSP killer, but I'd say it's like an alternative to Kerbal Space Program. And I wasn't that interested in it, if I'm honest, when it first launched. But since KSP 2's launch, I've suddenly had a lot more interest in it. And in KSP 2's launch, basically, like during that period, Juno sent out a free copy of the game to me. So thank you to John Drew for sending me that. Basically, like, hey, there's been a lot of backlash to the system requirements. This was just before it came out. Hey, maybe try our game, because Juno is well optimized enough that it can run on a tablet, which is pretty impressive. And it's a team of 7 people, I believe. And what I find interesting about it is that you build a craft, as far as I understand it. I haven't played it before. This is the first experience for me. But you build a craft, and it simulates the entire thing as a rigid body. It applies things to the whole craft rather than individual joints and individual parts, right? Which is how KSP works, and part of the reason why KSP's performance is so famously awful. And obviously, I was wrongly under the impression that KSP 2 would do things differently, and it doesn't. It's copied KSP 1's homework in that regard, and I'm going to have a rant about that later, I can assure you. But so basically, but this doesn't. This takes a different approach to physics, and as such, it runs beautifully well as far as I can see. And interestingly, like every YouTuber I've watched play it has had like a weirdly apathetic view towards it. Like, oh yeah, well, all the systems work, and this all works fine, and yada yada yada. But yeah, I guess it works well enough. I'm just there like, this looks great. Like, why everyone just seems weirdly apathetic towards it, and it really does look great. It's got parallax support now. I haven't installed that because I've literally just booted the game up. But yeah, Lynx has extended the parallax mod over to this game as well, which is when I was like, okay, I really need to play this. And it looks really, really great. So yeah, people are saying the basic Juno Origins started, as you said, Simple Rockets 2 for mobile apps. And it's been relaunched as Juno New Origins because apparently it's not quite so simple anymore. And there's a big focus on procedural parts, as far as I understand it. Pretty much everything is procedural and configurable, which is pretty much how I play Kerbal Space Program these days anyway, with For All Kerbal Kind. And people are literally spamming, when For All Kerbal Kind. Oh, hello, Paul! Paul has donated to the stream. Thank you, Paul. And the animations are broken. I'm not sure why. But thank you, Paul. Great to see you, Biddy. Just watched the Mr. Lowne video, so heard the announcement. Yes. I'll talk about that in a little bit, and Matt might come on stream a little bit later. He's a bit busy, so we'll see. But yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. Everyone's going, where's For All Kerbal Kind? Even though in the For All Kerbal Kind, has my webcam just broken again? What's going on? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna swap USB port, right? Because my webcam just keeps breaking, and I don't know why. Let's try swapping to that one. I think that's a maybe unreliable USB port I'm trying to use. It froze on a particularly unflattering. Okay, let's try that again. Come on, you know you want to work. You gonna work? Come on. There we go. We're back. Oh, and it's reset all my settings again. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna get a new webcam. I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm getting one before the next stream. I'm doing it because every time like it closes the camera, it resets like all of your settings, and it's really irritating. We just got that all set up, and now it's just like, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna nuke all your settings again. That's really irritating. Hopefully it doesn't happen again on this stream, because that's really annoying to have to deal with. Okay. We're good. Hopefully it'll stay like that. I was going to try and see why the widgets were broken. Let's have a little look at the... This is clearly very... You can tell I haven't streamed in ages. Oh my God. Where For All Kerbal Kind? Okay, let's answer that question before I try and sort out the widgets. Thanks for the donation, Paul, by the way. Again, long-time supporter of the channel. Nice to see you here. I said it in the installation guide, and I'll say it again. 2 weeks to a month. Making this install, this new 1.12 install, was such a Herculean effort, right? Like the last episode would have been on time if I hadn't had to do it, and it was just like, again, just watch the installation guide. I explained why. Like there was a game breaking bug, and everything's in its final version. So I just like, you know what, to future proof the series, and we're going to be doing this series for the foreseeable future because KSP2 being in the state it is, yeah, like it just the install needed sorting because it's been like an absolute mess for such a long time. And Nine, as much as I love him, does have a habit of just throwing configs, just like writing configs as and when he needs them and just chucking them in random folders. And like our installs end up being different, and we have like different settings and different difficulty settings and whatever. And sometimes he'll send me a config and then update it and then forget to send it. And just like we all needed to have the same install, we needed to be in the latest version, we needed the latest version of everything. That's where it is. Everyone's like, oh, fly the rockets faster, and then everyone's just like, where's for all Kerbal Kai? You get one or the other. I can't fly rockets and talk about this. Anyway, yeah, as I said, you can tell I haven't streamed in a while because we're sort of juggling a lot of different things. I'm gonna quickly figure out this is going to be a bit of a chaotic stream, as I said. I'm going to quickly figure out the widgets and why those aren't working. And then we'll get stuck into some rockets because obviously that's what you're all here to see, and to get stuck into the game and get playing Juno New Origins. I'm quite excited to get stuck into it. Yes. Log into Streamlabs. Let's see if we can test the widgets and see what's going on with that. I don't know why they would have broken. Here we go. Alert box. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Go away. Here we go. Okay, let's how do I test one? Test a donation. Oh, there we go. No, they do work. I think they were just lagging or something. There's Pingu.
We're going to need all the
someone has actually donated. Hello, Artificial Cookie Addict has tipped, and it's the Lowne one. Thank you. Thanks for the donation. Okay, cool. It's fixed. Let's get stuck into the game. Let's launch some rockets. So, I'm thinking we go into a career, right? Because it's going to ease us into it. Kanasa's in the chat. Hey, Kanasa, how you doing? What is this? Some kind of like career with all the neat tools and stuff. We'll start with the default, and we'll get stuck in a minute. But let's quickly set the settings, make sure it's all field of view. Right? I tend to like a field of view of 110. Because I have a chonky ass screen that's pretty close to my face. Run in the background, yes. Audio. I don't know what any of that stuff is. Figure that out later. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, we'll apply those changes. Let's set it all to very high. Is there a very high? Yeah, we'll set it all to high. There we go. That's all actually correct. Let's make sure that there's no like VSync on. I don't think it's got VSync on because I've got G-Sync because I have an NVIDIA GPU. I've got a 3090 now, so I got it ready for KSP2 just after I made my initial thoughts video, and then I've just never played the game since. And that's all just a bunch of controls and stuff, so we don't need that. Cool. Let's get stuck in. New game. Company name. What are we thinking? Just beardy. Any suggestions? Will the stream turn into a series or just a one-time thing? That's a good question. It depends how much I enjoy it. Honestly, like I'm quite tempted to have a second series. People say silly goober aerospace, beardy aerospace. You know, looking for Lowne sucks enterprise. Yeah, that's good. There we go. That's a good one. Might have him on stream later, so that would wind him up. Oh, I wonder who this is supposed to be. How very subtle. Congratulations on starting your very own aerospace company. Tough business, my connection to help you succeed. Looks like a particularly elongated muskrat kind of person, don't you think? Just a little bit? Maybe. Algernon Fizzlebottom. Time to chase the stars. My staff decided to offer incentives to new aerospace companies to help them get started. Okay. How do I head to the... Oh, there's a highlight. Okay. Elon Bezos. Yeah, click on the Druidman side to see what technologies it contains. Don't cost any tech points. So it's a great bargain. So we get the Druid. Here we go. Mysterious being that resembles an Earthling. So this, I think they're missing a trick here, right? Because they've got like a cute little guy, like mysterious guy with a helmet on, and yet they're showing like a human here, right? And I think they're missing a trick. Like as soon as you show a human being in a game like this, I feel like it just loses so much of its charm by default, right? Because what I think would be funnier, like so much funnier, was if they had the little helmet of this guy, but just in a suit. So it was the suit up to here, and you can tell with the type of suit that it's, you know, who it's supposed to be. And instead of the face of someone who looks like a human, just have the space helmet. So as if they just always wearing the space suits, and just keep it mysterious what they look like. I think that would be funnier. Is that just me? Have I got the parallax mod for it? I haven't got it. I assume you have to like install it manually or something. No, I haven't grabbed it, but I will do. Yeah, but I just thought I would try the game out first. There we go. Let's unlock that tech. Unlock common ground. It's also free. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, here we go. I gotta zoom out. Oh, there we go. Let's have a look at this tech tree. Nice. Yeah, I haven't got parallax yet. I'm sure we might grab it midstream. I just booted up the game at the start of this stream. So, right. So we get a label. Luna Cole the Fox, hello! It's one of my dear patrons. Thank you very, very much. For all Kerbal kind communist in Juno private enterprise, funded by a certain long smelly rodent. The irony, love your stuff though. Thank you very much. Yeah. What I'm thinking I might do, if I like this game, because it's not guaranteed I will, but everything I've seen of it looks really amazing. It looks like it's very much the way I like to play KSP anyway. Right? And the thing about everything being a rigid body, and some people give the game crap for that, that's how I play KSP anyway. I just auto-strut everything such that it doesn't move anyway. The whole, rocket wobble's a feature, part of the Kerbal DNA, it's just bullshit. It's a bug. The original developer admitted as much. Like, it was a decent temporary solution for the scope of the first game, and it works well enough, right? And, you know, I'm not going to start ranting about KSP2 because maybe we'll wait till Lowne's on stream later. And then we'll have a little joint rant with him. But yeah, and I play with procedural parts as well in KSP. Like, everything I've seen of this game looks amazing. Backyard scientist and build rockets, or start with RC enthusiast and build cars and planes. Well, I think we definitely want to start with backyard scientist, right? To get some rockets going. So we got 10 tech points. Let's spend it on that. Show you how to get more tech points. Back button. Okay. Open the career. See, again, it's not just me, right? If this was a space helmet with a cowboy hat on top of the helmet, like, that would make so little sense. It would actually be hilarious. Like, I just feel like it loses so much charm. You know, part of the reason people love KSP, believe it or not, is not because of wobbly rockets. It's because of the little green creatures. If you had little mysterious little spacemen and they were all wearing, like, they still had the spacesuit, but then just like a cowboy hat on top of a space helmet, that would be hilarious, right? It would give the game so much more charm. You've got the druids, you kept it a little bit more mysterious, but they're just people, they're just humans, right? It's almost like, why call them druids if they're just clearly human beings. Buck Marshall, mayor of the Juno village, the largest mountain range in Drew. Okay, so where you find contracts, you get money, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So our funds is there. Okay, we've got 5k, cool, and we've got milestones. Okay, want to use patents, you need to prove you deserve it for this set of milestones. Reaching them, you earn tech points, you can use unlock new technology. So okay, so you get money through the contracts, and then you do milestones to get more tech. That makes sense. For some reason, the top of my blue screen keeps like clipping in. I'm gonna see if I can adjust my lights and stop that happening. That sort of helped. Bear with me. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, it seems to improve that. I'm still adjusting it. I've moved into a new house in a new city. I've started a new job. This is the first stream I've done in a while. I'm surprised I managed to even get set up in time. People love KSP for the wobble, Nate Simpson, probably. I mean, Yeah, those devs are a little bit out of touch, if you ask me. But what do I know? It's not like I've been playing the game for like over 10,000 hours at this point. Okay, let's have a look. Exploration. Ah, so this is the solar system. So you got Volcos, Sagitt. So I think I do want to explore their little solar system first, right? But if I'm enjoying this, because there is a realism overhaul mod for it. I wonder if I play this with the real scale solar system, I play it with parallax, and I build like historical spacecraft. And I know there's like a programming thing built into this. There's like a little Scratch akin sort of coding thing, not quite Kerbal operating system, but you can, you know, write programs for your rockets, right, and have them fly automatically. And I think that would be really cool if I had like all of my probe missions flew themselves. It's only when I have crew on board I could fly them manually. Like that would be really cool. That'd be an interesting challenge. Everyone's talking about like wobbly rockets in KSP2. Hey Luna, Virgin unstrutted wobble versus Chad's sideways flying rigid body at kilometer per second vertical speed. But the thing is, right? You can just have in real life, rockets don't wobble, right? Like that. If the stress gets too much, they just completely disintegrate. So you can calculate the forces on the entire body, and if the forces get too high on a part, then the part just disintegrates, right? And then it splits into multiple rigid bodies that are each simulated, right? And it's just that's more akin to how rockets actually work. Yeah, let me fly a rocket before I get into the KSP2 rant. Is going to happen in this stream. It's going to happen. Like after that dev chat about wobbly rockets, it's going to happen. But again, let's try and launch a rocket before I get too annoyed. Oh, drone ship. Oh, wow, you can launch from a drone ship and stuff. That's cool. Landmarks you can visit, additional milestones you can do in each celestial body. So, conveniently placed barge to land your rocket boosters. South Pole. Won't find Santa Claus. Yeah, he's in the north one, I suppose. Oh, so there's a bunch of different, like, bases and stuff. Oh, so if you travel to them and land at them, you get points. And I assume... Ah, these are the different biomes. You land in the different biomes, you get more tech points for landing on the different moons. I see. So it just keeps track of your exploration of the solar system. That's cool. So there's a reason to build aircraft. Like, I guess KSP's got different bases and stuff now, but I haven't played the stop games since they added those. Mucho gusto. It's like the vertical shot contract and click start tutorial. Okay, let's start the tutorial for it then. Deep Space Industries. I got to name one of those locations. Really? How'd that happen? Do you know the devs or? I'm curious as to how that happened. That's cool. I'm just adjusting my lights. Once I've got them all set up for this stream, then like in future streams, it won't take quite so long to get it all set up and working. But okay. Okay, so that's how we pan. They want to fully rotate. Move the view. Okay, so they give me the camera controls. Command pod. That's like the avionics. Let's build a rocket. First step, add a fuel tank below the command disk. Okay. Yeah, so this is like, there's not much in the... Do you click and drag? Oh, you click and drag. Okay, cool. Very cool. Add a nose cone. So yeah, it's not click and snap, it's click and drag. See, it's actually not that many parts. I know that we're only just starting the game, right? But there's only a few sort of simple parts, and then you can just resize them to your heart's desire, which I just find makes the game so much more, I think, just easy to interpret, right? Like, is it just me? If you have few parts, you can turn into anything. I think it's so much less overwhelming, particularly like playing with mods and whatever. Like KSP just gets insane. Like I cannot play KSP, particularly modded KSP, without Janitor's Closet and clearing up the stuff I don't use, and then at least hiding the stuff that I can't use. So like in For All Kerbal Kind, I hide all the non-Soviet tech. Otherwise, it's just too much stuff to filter through. You just can't find anything. Enable symmetry mode. So that is... Oh, so you click the part and you can... Okay, yeah, so all fairly standard stuff. Enable the gyro. Okay. So this is the part properties thing. You can rename it as well. So I could rename it avionics or something. Help stabilize the rocket when it's in flight. Available and to use for gyroscopes. Do I use all of it? Okay. You put your first rocket. Oh, and here's the launch button. Okay. So we got Juno Village, and then we got these ones, which I assume we have to unlock. How do you unlock them? Tyrannosaurus Studios, can you see this? Yes, I can see this. I wanted to see Deep Space Industries reply. I won a competition to make one of the loading screens for the game, and therefore got to name one of the locations. So my very scuffed art is also in the game. Very cool. See, look, like with all procedural parts, you can make some really, really cool stuff. And obviously it's a little bit more complicated, but I just think it's really, really awesome. It's a little bit more complex to make like really good looking stuff, but that's what community stuff is for, right? That's what, you know. Because I imagine if I played this game in a series, maybe I would make all the craft, but it would be amazing to do a series with viewer submitted craft, right? Or maybe like each... What I would like to do actually is copy N9's homework a little bit and do something similar to N9SA, right? Where I stream things and then upload summary videos of it. I think that would be really cool. And perhaps each stream, I say what I want to do in the next week's stream, and viewers could submit rockets for it. That would be really cool, I think, if that became like a weekly thing. Press space to activate your first stage. Activate your engines. Solid once ignited, you won't be able to stop it or adjust its power. So that recenters the camera. Okay, and this turns around. And that moves the camera over here. Okay, let's do this thing. Blast off. And there's already by default a slow engine ramp up. I like that. That's cool. Oh, one of my lights is moved. It's pointing at me and making me look all blue. Bottom of the screen is the main dashboard. Oh, there's a nav ball. Aha! AGL and ASL, so above sea level and ground layer. Yeah. Button on the right side of the screen to show the nav sphere. Lock heading button to... Aha, okay. Surface and orbit speeds. Yep, that makes sense. Change modes. You can see the green arrow in the nav sphere move around. This arrow adapts to your velocity mode, show you where the forward direction is pointing again. So set your path to 70. I do like it. It does actually have the numbers pop up for you. Automatically does the engine. Okay, so it's sort of... I can see it is sort of designed originally, at least for tablets, right? It does fly itself to an extent. But I assume you can use WASD. Anywhere on the blue nav circle until your pitch is set to 90. Okay, and the sphere for the strikes and numbers. Yep, I found that. Okay, can we use WASD? Oh yeah, you can still just fly with WASD, right? So we got it on lock heading. Switch the map mode. Oh, I see. Oh, there's a more advanced map view, but you need to unlock that. Okay, but it shows you where you are on the planet. Cool. So you can still fly it with... Oh, that's the... I'm too used to KSP. You can still fly it with your WASD, right? Which is cool. But it's the W and the S are... See, I always have it weird, right? So instead of pulling back on the stick, I always swap the W and the S around in KSP's default settings, such that it's, you know, it's not inverted on the nav ball, if that makes sense. Okay, lock current heading. What was this one? Show height navs. Ah, so you can turn that off. That's much more pretty. What's the turn off UI button? I don't know. Where's Kerbal Rising? If you're not over that series being over, I don't know what to tell you. Vertical shot was go higher than 25 kilometers and drop nearby. Crash at least 500 meters away from the village. Okay, well that's fine. How do we see? Okay, so this is let's do above sea level. So yeah, we've already exceeded that. How do you speed up time? Is it? Oh yeah, it's still the same hotkeys as in KSP. Grounded or outside the atmosphere. I assume. Okay, where does the atmosphere end in this game? Is it sort of KSP height, 70 kilometers, or is it more realistic, sort of 100 kilometers for the Carmen line. Can we only go to 2 times speed? Oh, you can go to slow motion. That's cool. And you can freeze it. Nice. Again, it's strange that I've seen so many YouTubers play this and just be ambivalent. They're like, oh yeah, you know, it's good enough. I suppose it does the job. And I'm like, this is great, right? And the fact that it's just completely scalable. The KSP2 rating's incoming, I can assure you. It's incoming. Alright, I'm just I'm gonna see if Matt wants to come on the stream. I'm just gonna say, let me know when you want to come on and rant about KSP2. Because that man's got almost as strong opinions as I do. Not quite, but almost. Oh, there we go, we're flipping round. Right, let's fast forward. Yeah, so we can't seem to go faster than 2 times right now. You make thousands of videos and tutorials and still not cover all this game has to offer. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like it has just so much content, right? For a dev team of 7 people. Like, I've just seen the insane amount of stuff. I've seen the game trailers and teasers. I'm like, whoa. Like, because I remember when this launched, I don't remember it having that much content. I wasn't that interested in it. And then I've just sort of been blindsided by seeing its being recommended its trailers. It's a bit like a rod from the god, isn't it? A rod from God just flying down into the ground. But yeah, you know, you see the trailers and I'm like, whoa! When did that game get so good? And look, it doesn't freeze when it hits the ground for like 5 seconds before it then goes, oh crap, we've hit the ground, and then think to explode. Like, it just runs nicely. Right, I sent the flight. Cool. I guess recover craft? Is there anything to... It's destroyed. Yes, it's just save flight. Okay. So that's that first one. Fireworks, one of the best inventions of Drumankind. Fly high and blow up. Select your command disk and blow up the craft before it goes too low. Okay. We can do that. So we got 9.4k. And I guess we just... So is this the only craft that we have right now? I guess it's just vertical shot tutorial card. Yeah, we just should use it again, right? We'll just call it boomstick. There we go. Sure. Just launch another one, I suppose. I like they got viewer submitted loading screens as well. That's cool. The boomstick. This is a little bit of a throwback to Mars Horizon. Those of you who watch that series. Right. So, do you right-click on parts to? How do you explode stuff? Talk about activation panel. I'm trying to figure out how you actually like open the context menu. Matt was crying in his video. He got to move everything into the garage because having the walls in his house gold plate. He's having his house renovated. Luna's back. The big issue with KSP2 is the fact they chose Unity over an engine that's more powerful. I understand why they chose it, but this is what I believe is the root cause. Okay. I understand where you're coming from, but for a game like Kerbal Space Program, there aren't many better engines than Unity. It's left click to open the... okay. Thank you for that. There actually aren't many better engines. Some people are like, oh, Unreal, but actually Unreal is very, very well optimized for like shooters, third and first person shooters. To get to do different things is actually very difficult. So with the first game, with physics-based things, the first game being Unity and the dev team having their previous games, and I know they're supposedly a new developer, but there was a video about like the KSP team, the current KSP2 team's history, and they're not a new developer. They've just changed names a lot of times. They're used to Unity, right? I understand why they used Unity. The issue really. So how do you blow it up? Is it? Oh, here we go. There's a kaboom button. Okay, cool. Well, we'll just have that pinned. So it's left click is your context menu and stuff. Okay, cool. Let's lock our heading. Nice. So I find the issue is that they are having brainstorming sessions now, 6 years into development, about the fundamental mechanics of the game. Where was the brainstorming session about how they were going to handle part physics 6 years ago, before they, built the game? And it's just like, it's just the worst early access I've ever seen. Early access is not an excuse to launch broken games. What is this? Blow up your craft mid-flight. Doesn't matter where I blow it up. Just any point. Okay, but it's not an excuse to launch broken games. It's an excuse to launch content dry games, right? But the fundamental systems need to be there. It's just you haven't made like a lot of the content yet. And when you launch in early access, you become basically a live service. You have to have regular updates, engagement with your community, lots and lots of very regular patches, fixing the bugs as they pop up, and only then unfurling new content and then fixing those bugs. And recently I had time to blow things up. Here we go. Just click on it, show you the menu and more details. But a nice orange button where the boom begins. Kaboom. Click again to destroy this part. Destroying as soon as you're on pause. Kaboom! Yeah! And it's just like, and they're talking about 1.0. They're like, oh, well, we're slowing down our release schedule because actually, long term, it's going to take less time because we're working towards 1.0. And it's like, that makes sense if you're developing internally, but people are playing your game now. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, in an early access model. And it's like, if that was your plan, why did you release early access? Right? At 50 quid as well. What are you doing? It's just baffling. And like, I remember, like, so when Kerbal Space Program 2 came out, I was not impressed, right? And the only two YouTubers who came out on release day and said, this is really bad and this needs to do better, were me and Carnassa. That was it. Everyone else was, oh, well, it's got a few bugs, but it's alright. I had so much backlash to that video. Like, it's actually insane the amount of backlash I had to it. People telling me, like, just fanboy seed. And it came out the moment the game released. So this is people who hadn't even played the game yet. They just saw it, just the fact that I dared to hate on Kerbal. And it's like, I love Kerbal. Like, I have over 10,000 hours in the original game. I love Kerbal more than anything. And I want it to be the best it can be. I wasn't hating on the game. I'm just describing it the way it was. Because I'm like, this is 50 quid. And people are going to spend money on this. And I'm like, I can't, in good conscience, recommend it in the state it's in. Like yeah, maybe it's going to be great in future. But it's not going to go, it's not like 10 quid now and it's going to be 50 quid later, so you invest in it. It's the same price it's going to be when it releases. So just wait and see if they fulfill their promises before they release it. And that was all I said. And I got so much hate on that video. It's actually insane. And now, like, the complete consensus is even more, like, the wrong think, I suppose, has changed. And it's even more harsh now than I even said at the time, to the point where people are harassing the developers and Nate Simpson and stuff, and that's absolutely never what you should do. And I don't blame the developers, and I don't blame Nate either as the creative director. I think everything he said about the creative direction of the game has always been absolutely spot on. It's the technical direction that is a problem, and the technical director of the game left as it was releasing into early access, which I think says everything. I don't know if they left or if they got fired or what. It's the technical side of things that's a problem. And the fact that, and people, like, so many people were like, oh, it's early access, like, and they just clearly have no concept of how software development works. Take it from someone who is a qualified spacecraft engineer and writes software for aerospace as a job, right? I'm not in uni anymore. I'm a qualified engineer, right? So I think I'm probably the most qualified YouTuber to speak about this within the community, in that I do software development every day, and I have a master's degree in spacecraft engineering. So I'm like fully qualified in just like every side of it. And people are telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like, that's just not how software development works, right? Like, well, at least competent software development works. You don't release crap in a broken state and then, oh, you fix it later. Like, particularly test-driven development, which is a philosophy that most modern-day software development houses employ, where you make small, like, modular code, right? And you make small segments of code, and you write the tests for that code before you write the code, right? And then you unit test it so that each individual module, before it gets put into anything, you know it's producing all the expected outputs, right? And even you're extreme testing it, and you have a testing framework set up beforehand to make sure that each module you write is performing as expected. And then you build on top of that. That's part of the game's foundation. So when there are crippling, game-breaking bugs in basic things you expect, like orbits staying constant and the rockets not wobbling, right? That's not just that's just a little bug that they can go back and fix. That's not something that only got discovered when people started playing it. Like, yeah, there's always going to be bugs, but going back into that and then patching it instead of that being like baked into the fundamentals of the game, and that's something that other things are built on top of now. Going back and then patching that just tanks the performance even more. You build up even more technical debt. Like, it's so shockingly amateur. It's the sort of crap you expect from like a couple of indie devs. It's the sort of stuff that happened in Kerbal Space Program 1 because it was made by one guy. It was made by a couple of people at a marketing company, right? And so I have so much patience and so much respect for KSP1, and like people are like, oh well, you bought KSP1. KSP1 was £4 when I bought it. Right? And they got those fundamentals to a point where it would support the scope of the game they wanted to make, and then they added content, and then the original developer after 1.0, they left. They're like, yeah, like there wasn't much more they could do without building the game again from the ground up with different physics systems, you know, with everything that they'd learned from the development of the first game, which is what everyone thought the second game was going to do. And they've just made it look pretty, but it's all, they've just copied their homework, right? They just taken all of the same fundamental systems of like all the physics systems that were right at their limit in the first game, and just literally just copy pasted them, and they think that they can build colonies and interstellar travel and crap on top of that. And they're only just realizing now, 6 years into development after releasing, that that's not a long-term sustainable solution. Where was this discussion when they started building the damn thing, right? Anyway, that is my rant. I refuse to play KSP2 until the basic fundamentals of the game work. I would pay money to, what was this one? So launch a new craft, start ground, crash at least 30 kilometers away. Yeah, we can do that one. And what's this one? Go higher than 10 kilometers, make the... Oh, it's just another firework one. Within 30 days, explosion has more than 3,000 boom power in a single fuel tank. I don't know how to set that. Can we edit the craft? How do we edit the craft? Here we go. Can we set the boom potential? Additional settings. See, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Someone might have to tell me how to change the boom potential. I don't know what that is. The fact that like Juno New Origins is made by 7 people and is run in circles around them is just embarrassing. Right. In the right, and people saying it's on the right hand side. Oh, hello, Luna's back. Oh, you got the Fingu one. Remember, there were multiple dev teams involved over time. Quite possible the current team members don't understand the underlying stuff that's causing issues. Well, I have to fix things quickly. Happened at my job too. How do I read that message in its entirety? Or is that... Oh, that is the full message, I think. Or maybe it's not. Let's have a little look. I need to go to my... Here we go. Tip history. Here we go. Oh yeah, that was the end of the message. I was just checking that I read all of it. Yeah. Oh, Lowne's here. Hello, Lowne. Right. Is it this one that we get the boom potential? Craft details. Come on, is it? Yep, that's crew. People are probably telling me what I need to actually click. Oh, what have I done? Oh, this is the coding! This is cool. This is the kind of thing I'm probably going to work out in my own time, but then come back to. Oh man, that's cool. That's real cool. How do we go back? Yeah, just go out and exit. Yeah. That's sick though. Juno's physics are simpler even than KSP ones. Yeah, but the idea of a rigid body, right? I mean, me and Matt were chatting about this. In fact, I'll bring him on stream. Fuel tank, explosive power. Okay, it's probably obvious, isn't it? Ah, here we go. Oh, okay, so it's set. So it's not something you can change. But, oh, I see, okay. And this doesn't have any explosive power. So do I just have to make the fuel tank bigger? Ooh. How do I make it longer? Can I make it longer with stuff still attached to it? Maybe I just make the base a bit wider. Oh yeah, that has a desired effect, doesn't it? How do I offset this? Do I just... Oop. Looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Okay, let's bring Lowne on. Let's bring Lowne on. Let me just check that I've got everything set up properly so that we'll actually be able to hear him. There we go, output device. Just bear with me, I'm setting it all up so that actually he'll be able to be heard. For some reason it's not. I need to set my audio thing up. Pass through. Let's try that. That should work. Yeah, if I can hear him, then you guys should be able to hear him too. Right, let's give him a ring. Let's give Lowne a ring and see if he's got similarly angry things to say. Hello.
Hello. Oh
Hello.
my god, your like stream is completely out of sync with me. Let me just mute it. I literally commented and I was like calling. I texted you. I thought you forgot about me. Well,
Oh, you texted me. You suck. Yeah, no, I was just waiting for an opportune time to bring you on. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Hello stream. Everyone's saying hi to me, so I've got my ego thing for today.
Your ego thoroughly stroked, just the way you like it. So, oh, I've accidentally broken my rocket. Yeah, I'm playing Juno, so I've never played it before. But it's...
I played Simple Rockets
fun.
too.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's the same game. Didn't you say it's like X tier rebrand?
What a stupid name change. Honestly, it's right up there with Twitter becoming X and Patreon changing its logo to a black pool of sick. But the thing that put me off, and I've heard that it's been fixed now, is that in Simple Rockets 2, you kind of had to steer it using the mouse. Yeah. But now they've added like KSP-like controls.
I don't have any choice.
Oh, someone's just donated 50 quid. Hello, Dakota. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Love from 45th IBCT and TF Tomahawk, currently in the Horn of Africa. Thank you very much, Dakota. Oh, I had a big old tip. Oh. There you go. For you to salivate that. Huh?
Sorry, I was just talking. I'm sorry.
No, so I've got the Streamlabs donation thing set up because it doesn't take 45% like YouTube does.
Wait, I use Streamlabs.
Yeah.
What? How'd you set that up?
What, with YouTube?
Yeah.
Just Google it. There's loads of tutorials.
No, I would like you to now explain to me.
You want me to teach you how to use Streamlabs while on stream?
Oh, launched.
Yeah, I launched the little rocket.
That's a very precarious runway. There's not much room for error there, is
I was
there?
going to say, yeah, you don't really want to just screw up your takeoff run there. I mean, you're... What's the, like, the point of no return they refer to in aircraft, whatever it is, where they there's a decision point where they then have to, like, either take off or abort. Yeah, you've got maybe, like... Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm going sideways because I have to crash, like, 30 kilometers away. So I can bring up the little, here we go, this little marker, and then it controls itself. So
it's better than KSP 1's thing where, like, just decouple something at 50 meters or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fairly bog standard sort of career mode. I don't think there's much to write home about the career mode, but I think it's a nice way to ease my way into the game. I'm quite keen on the sandbox mode, and also the community, like, mods and community craft are actually very impressive. And parallax particularly, like, I think there's a lot here to see and do, which I'm, you know, gonna barely scratch the surface of in this stream. But yeah, like, I mean, so far it looks great. Yeah, and it's more just the rigid body physics, and I'm just like, because it's running so buttery smooth, and I mean, so do you want to talk about your thoughts about wobbly rockets?
Love wobbly rockets.
I thought about they're part of the Kerbal DNA, right?
I honestly considered, like, giving Nate a pack of Viagra during the interview I'm doing with him next week, but I thought that might be a bit much.
Maybe a little.
Like a pill bottle of blue pill saying, "Me, Nate, give this to your dev team."
I mean, that would.
Sorry for your demonetization just then. By the way, I just realised this is.
People are saying zoom in a bit. The huge FOV looks silly. I mean, yeah, I set the FOV to my usual like first-person shooter field of view, and then remembered that this isn't a first-person shooter. Oh, that looks.
110? You're a psychopath.
That's my usual FPS like FOV. That's what I play 90. Minecraft on as well.
90 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's a little bit. I don't quite like that one. Yeah, we'll try 90 watt for FPS. It depends how big your screen is and how close you sit to it, right?
I got mine's 27 inch, and I'm about.
There we go. I like that.
A computer screen distance away from it. I play Starfield at 90 FOV.
I just found 90 just made me feel like motion sick. Like it just hurt my eyes. Like 110 is just what I'm comfortable at. Because I play with, I was saying I play with a big monitor. I assume you have a chunky ass 4K monitor, right? So.
Yeah. I literally, by the way, guys, don't bother getting a 4K monitor. There's literally no difference between 4K and 1440p. I just got it so I could like record 4K gameplay.
Yeah, I'm never planning to. Yeah, I think if the Simple Rockets actually 90 does look a bit weird. Yeah, we'll just leave it at 60. That's what everyone seems to want for this one. So I think for a third-person thing that works quite nicely. Luna donated again. Hopefully, honestly, the KSP2 dev team needs some of them blue crystals, good documentation, and a 3,000-page book on C# and Unity. It seems to be. So I was chatting a little bit earlier and basically saying, like, because your first KSP2 video, not like the Easter event one, but the first one you actually got your hands on the game, was, I think, a little bit more cautious than mine was, in the sense that I literally called mine KSP2's unplayable and was just like, this is bad and needs to be better. And I got, like, so much backlash, whereas, like, now the whole community opinion is now sort of shifted to, like, even way further past that, to, like, outright hate. There was only really me and Carnassa that were, like, on launch day, like, this is really bad.
Yours went live on Friday, though, right?
It went live the second the embargo went down.
Because there was the embargo for the KSP Insiders, which was Monday. But I feel like yours and Carnassa's videos didn't go live till the Friday.
Yeah, it went live on the release day. Yeah, I'm not a KSP Insider.
No.
I just got sent an email from them. Yeah.
But wait, let's say, you know, I had something and it's just gone.
it's just vanished. I'm just gonna turn you up a little.
Fizzled out. Wait. No, wait, yeah, that was it. I did a launch day live stream in KSP2, and everyone was like ragging on the game during that stream, mostly saying like, oh, 4090 and it's 12 FPS walking around on Minmus.
Interestingly, like, yeah, I was on the receiving end of a lot of backlash, but like, because it launched the second that the game released, these are people that could not have played the game. There was one which was someone literally like telling me I'm an idiot and yada yada, and then they replied to their own comment, go, oh, actually no, I just launched the game and I retract everything I said. You're right. And it's like people just like automatically like knee-jerk reaction, like started like ragging on me. Just because I think they love Kerbal, and they're just like, no, surely not. I think people just didn't want to believe it, right? That it would be disappointing. Because I don't know about you, like, I wasn't bothered about the move to early access. I was very much of the opinion if it launched with, like, basically, and was just like KSP 1, but with much better performance and prettier graphics, I would have just been perfectly happy. And so then the fact that they launched it in a state where it's significantly worse than the first game, while the first game is right there and also cheaper, it's just like, why? I just don't understand why they launched it. I was saying earlier, well, like, they don't seem to understand like the early access model, in that it's basically a live service, right? Like, you can't literally be working towards 1.0 and be like, oh, most of our devs team's working on 1.0 and we've only got a small team dedicated to the bug handling. Like, that's like, early access games don't even start talking about 1.0 until like the games, like, people are really enjoying it, right? And they've got a firm foundation.
So one of the questions I fully intend to ask Nate Simpson is like, the first trailer came out in 2019 with a release date of 2020. What happened?
How were they ever planning to when the trailer came out, I was like, bro, they've been working on this for like 5 years already? Like, that's crazy.
I think there's more to the Star Theory poaching than
there's gotta be. I'm so curious as to what's happened behind the scenes. If you like, you've got that Nate Simpson interview coming up at Creator Day, right?
I'm planning on taking Nate to a German beer bar place and getting him wasted, and then just getting him to spill the beans. That's my plan.
He's just like, I didn't want to work for a private division anyway.
You guys are wobbly rockets are fun. You guys suck.
So I love wobbly rockets. You're all wrong. They seem so bizarrely tunnel visioned on the wobbly rockets, right? And I just don't get it. I'm just like, who looks at like a rocket launch and is just like, oh, you know what this needs? This needs to be more unstable. This needs to be more like a wet noodle. Like, I remember your like about the wobbly rockets video was just like hit the nail on the head in how most of the community's feeling. Like, it's not a feature. It's a bug, and it's always been a bug. And in your chat with Harvester, it's really interesting, him saying like, yeah, it's a bug, right? Like, it's not, it's just a limitation on how it handled physics.
The guy that designed the buildings of the Kerbal Space Center in KSP1 literally said, and this is like 2013, he said, glitches with the physics engine isn't a feature and it should never be considered a feature, it's a bug. And sort of wobbly rockets sort of comes under that. I just can't believe, literally when I saw the trailer was announced for KSP 2, I was like, yes, we're going to have rigid rockets.
Well, we were chatting about like solutions, weren't we? Like, in the, okay, like they want to have a little bit of flex. Oh, someone's donated Luna's, but honestly, the wobbly rockets wouldn't be so bad if the game ran faster than I can compute the frames by hand. But it's all tied together in that, like, the reason they're wobbly is because it's got such an inefficient physics engine and it's simulating things, but like, it's all from the same root cause. That's why the performance is tanking so badly.
I mean, obviously Unity, it's not really Unity's fault. It's like this obsession with modeling every single joint. It's like Harvester's new game is in Unity and that doesn't wobble. Oh, what happened to your rocket?
I blew up the rocket because it said it would have more, it had the sufficient boom power, but maybe because it had used some fuel, its boom power went down. Let me retry.
It's really like weird, like talking to you on Discord, but obviously I've got your stream up and it's like there's like a 20-second delay.
Well, you haven't got the audio on for both, have you?
No, obviously not. But, like, I'm just like, obviously got your stream so I can like comment about, you know,
Yeah.
the happenings.
Oh, the explosive power does go down. Okay, like which makes sense, doesn't it? Like the fuel depletes, so I need to blow it up as soon as it gets above like 10 kilometers. Yeah, well, we were talking about like potential solutions, right? In the if they do want a little bit of flex, you know, treat each stack as a rigid body, and then if you maybe connect a strut between two adjacent stacks, then that includes that in that rigid body, right? So each stack, if they're connected by a single attachment point, then you've got two separate like rigid bodies, right? And then if you connect a strut between them, then it simplifies, because then struts, instead of like KSP1 where a bunch of struts like massively reduce the performance by adding extra joints, struts can then also be used to improve performance if you've got a big craft, right? You can attach things with struts and then have it simplify the physics for you. Just because like...
That's what I suggested on my video. But I guess that doesn't solve the outlier cases where, say, the radially mounted boosters, you attach via the extra small tanks, and then suddenly put an extra large tank on top of that, and then strut it. So again, but there must be like, you know, I don't know much about programming, but I know computers largely function on an if this then that type of thing. So if you detect a diameter change of X amount, then apply wobble to it. You know.
It's, I mean, I know you're saying like, oh, that you're not a programmer, and you know, maybe armchair developer kind of thing, but I can tell you, it really should be that simple. Like it really, like it's not. It's tied to where they're putting joints, right? It really is as simple as if you suddenly have an increase in diameter or whatever, like put a joint there, right? Otherwise, don't put a joint there. Like it actually is that simple. Like the physics calculation itself is complex, and the fact that they're now like redoing it after the fact to then make things rigid body is quite a difficult challenge. But it just comes back to why are they having this conversation now?
That's what I was saying. Like, oh, it's a couple. Like, what is wobble? Is it this? Is it that? Like, bruh, this should have been talked about in 2017. The project. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. Stream is totally going to get sound bited. It's going to go to the top of Reddit tomorrow. Say, although to be fair, that will hopefully dispel some of the rumors that I'm apparently on Intercept Games' payroll.
Oh, if only. Where's my sweet Intercept Games?
I mean, honestly, Intercept
money,
Games, if you're watching this, I'm like very much open to being paid to play KSP too. So.
Man, I wish I could I get paid to play KSP. Although, to be fair, we have both got an all-expenses trip to Paris, so...
Oh, segue to why I even joined this bloomin' stream in the first place.
Do you wanna talk about it?
Because
you're the one that... I know you spoke about it in your video, yeah, but just for the benefit of people who don't watch your channel. I know it's impossible to comprehend that some people might not watch your channel, but... Do you want to just I just want to give the overview of it, just because I'm building a rocket right now. A very janky, weird-ass rocket, but a rocket all the same.
I'm like looking at your, like, I'm like critical about your rocket building skills now.
Well,
like, oh, this
thing is, I don't really know what I'm doing with this game, and it's hard to like concentrate on a game that I'm not familiar with the UI and how things work. While chatting to you.
Sorry. Guys,
yeah, you're a distraction.
Video game, sorry.
Oof. Bitch, I have a master's degree in spacecraft engineering. I am... I do this in real life,
I've got a master's degree in medical retina.
Yeah, so if you were playing Surgeon Sim, I wouldn't be chatting shit. If you were doing an eye replacement on Surgeon Simulator, I would defer to your superior knowledge.
Oh, I suck at Surgeon Simulator.
Like... Case rested.
I will like just declare to the chat right now that Surgeon Simulator is not actually an accurate simulation of.
What? I've been lied to. Insane.
So basically, I feel like you need to carry the team because apparently it's going to be mods. I don't I've never like my video today was literally the first time I've used mods in like 9 years.
I was so shocked. I was just like, who is it? Who are you? What have you done with Matt Lowne? You know, just like the fact that I just saw like, oh yeah, modded, just like Matt playing mods, because obviously like I feel like a lot of your like wider appeal to people is the fact that you play stock, and it makes it so much more accessible to people. Because I very much agreed with your assessment in that, like watching Interstellar Quest and stuff. When I first started watching modded playthroughs, like you start watching and there's a bunch of extra windows on screen, extra and you're just like, when you're starting the game, it's just like, whoa, what is going on? I don't understand what's happening. Like I didn't watch any modded content for a long time, you know, and then I became a part of that sort of niche community. But yeah, like, I guess you just run out of things to do in stock KSP1.
Literally, like, there's nothing. KSP2, like, it's a sandbox. Like, I can go land somewhere and then leave. And hopefully my mothership hasn't deorbited itself. So everything has to, like I was like, oh, must do another single launch surface base. Like, literally, have you tried doing anything multi-launch in KSP2? It doesn't work. But
I can't say I have. I've literally, I played it before launch and I haven't touched it since, just because I want, like, when it does eventually get sorted out, and I do have faith that it'll get sorted, because even though they went into early access for some bizarre reason, they are fully funded by a major publisher. It's like a AAA publisher and a AAA studio, and it's like, what, AAA games you don't go into early access in AAA. I still just, yeah, that'd be something I'm interested to see, like, you talk to Nate about, like, what the fuck happened behind the scenes. But
yeah, well, I did say to him, like, do you want to have like a sort of a candid off the record chat beforehand? And it was sort of a case of you know, the NDA still apply basically. But yeah, it would be nice to know what on earth, what happened. I mean, the data mining has shown us, and they've shown us the pre-alpha captures of the colony building system, where it looks very like there's a lot of stuff there, like all the parts and all the like the roads you can build.
That's
I think
thing,
right? I
like,
mean,
there's so much time clearly gone into the future stuff, and that's not indicative of them having planned to go into early access. Because if you were planning to go into early access, you would plan to release a functioning thing with none of that content done yet. Like, all of your effort would be into that 0.1 release, and then you'd be working on that content. But they've got detailed models. They've got like a lot of the later functionality and colonies and stuff is there, right? That's
what I mean. Like, they clearly, like, you know, whatever, a year and a half ago, Take-Two said, you're taking too long, release this in early access. And then they had to poo the bed and, like, cobble together something that resembles a partly working video game. Because it doesn't make any sense. I'm like the hopeful person that is slowly shriveling up and dying inside of me.
They shriveled up and died a long time ago. Don't lie to me.
Some like mega patch where, like, oh, the reason the update's been so slow is because we work on everything else at the same time, like we were doing before, and now it's done. But you know, I ain't holding my breath. I mean, my KSP1 video today. Let me just open YouTube Studio. It's like my best performing video in the past 60 days.
Oh, your modded video. I was really intrigued to know how it... What the heck? One of my solid rocket boosters exploded, apparently. I was really interested to know how it performed, because usually modded stuff doesn't do great, right?
I made it like very... Apologies now, because I realize that people in my audience are in this stream, but I try to make it like very normie oriented. Say like, hey guys, look how awesome this mod is. And like, you know, ease in slowly. So I don't know if this is just the people watching because of the novelty of, oh, Matt's playing with mods, let's check this out.
I think it was a good idea to the whole ease your audience in one mod at a time, and one like a parts mod, which is really, it's stock alike. It's people can look at it and understand it right from the get go.
Yeah, like RP1 and RSS. I'm like, literally, if honestly, if this
it's a different game, it literally might as well be a different game.
I'm just gonna like sit down and fall asleep, and you just lead the team, you know. But like, chat, you can help us now. So we haven't actually talked about what we're doing, are we? Have we? But basically, he and Beardy Penguin are taking part in an esports event in next month, in which we have 24 hours to do a KSP challenge. And I'm in like Twitter DM or X DMs, but Twitter's in our hearts. With the organizer,
always in our
like,
memories.
we'll need the whole 24 hours to do this challenge. And I'm like, what on earth is this challenge going to be? So I know there are going to be mods involved, and that's it. So Matt Lowne is doing Dan Team Deathmatch. Dan TDM. Am I showing my age now? I don't know who Dan TDM is.
Don't ask me. I only work here. Thing is, like, so when you first put.
Alright, to me, you're still 16. Like, I remember when I had you on my podcast, you're like, I'm 16. I'm like, and I'm 22. Look at us now.
Well, I started like
Oh,
the collaborative. Like, I'd say like
subscribers.
the start of
Damn,
my. What was
Sorry,
that?
I'm completely irrelevant. I was just looking at who Dan TTM was. Dan Diamond Minecart.
Oh, Dan the Diamond Mike. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know who that is.
Well, you're younger than me. You have the excuse.
But yeah, when I I realized like the start of my channel, really like doing it, quote unquote, properly was like 2015. Was the collaborative warfare stuff, right? Which was before your first video, which of course was the submarine to Eve. Which I still remember coming out and getting recommended.
Oh, you're a fan.
Huh?
You're a fan.
I'm aware of your channel's history. Yeah, like remember. You know I used to.
You're one of the first YouTubers that I was like familiar with, because I was like, oh, I want to be a famous YouTuber, and there was a challenge, and it was like, oh, the baby. There was like
10,000 subs at most.
Yeah, and then people were like, oh, the Beardy Penguin already did this, and I'm like, oh, cool, the Beardy Penguin. I could be famous like him. So like,
famous. You just like blasted past me within like 6 months.
It took me a while. Like it was like a good year and a half before I overtook Shadow Zone. I was like, I'll never be more famous than Shadow Zone. He's got like 30,000 subscribers. I'll never be that for them.
The thing is, right? Like,
it's reminisce now.
it's weird that. I mean, okay, well, first of all, for some reason, I say for some reason, people think that we absolutely hate each other. I think just because of, like, the stupid meme videos we've made and, like, the fact that we're, like...
Nice. And you were like, oh, everyone spam Matt Lowne sucks on
it. Did you see the name of the company I set in this career mode?
No? How do I see that?
It was at the start of the stream. I set it to Matt Lowne Sucks Enterprise.
You do that just because, you sent me such a nice message on Discord saying, hey, by the way, smiley face emoji, I'm streaming later if you want to hang out. And it turns out it was all a ruse.
Yeah, pretty much. But, like, I think because of the meme videos and, like, I feel like in, like, a British sense of humor and that, like, we make jabs at each other and stuff. People seem to genuinely just not get it. Usually Americans, I think. They don't understand sarcasm, think that we hate each other somehow. I like that video. I had so many comments like, Mask, will show me your subs. You suck. Kill yourself. Like, I was just like, bruh, calm down.
I think it is like a different. I feel like British humor and Australian humor is the same, but like American humor. My sister worked in America for a few months, and she was like, she would make like little banter, and we were looking at like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, it's just joking. Oh, okay, and then they just carry on. So.
Yeah, usually don't. It depends where in the States they're from. I didn't realize like just quite how big cultural difference there are between different parts of the States. But yeah, I do tend to find that. What was I saying? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, so people like, bizarrely seem to think we hate each other, but also there's almost this like strange perception, right, that people can only be like fans of one of us, and it's particularly like in my Discord. People like talk about your channel as if like you just like tripped and fell into success, and it's like. As if you just got lucky, and I'm just there like I know for a fact this man just like got no sleep for 5 years. Like I'm still genuinely in awe of like how the ridiculous amount of content you're able to churn out, and like reasonably like pretty high effort content. Like people think just because it's in the stock game that makes it easy, and usually that actually means it's harder because you don't have all the quality of life stuff of a lot of different mods. And yeah, I just like, I mean, I'm never gonna stroke your ego in such a way again, so don't expect me to ever say like repeat these words, but like I do believe that you like absolutely deserve like everything that you've like managed to achieve on YouTube. Like you've absolutely like nose to the grindstone. And like yeah, like the fact that your channel is where it is today, I think is a testament to the fact that you've like been consistently making very good content for a very long time, whereas I have like a 6-month hiatus, like as a matter of habit, you know, because for me it's always, I think particularly like still studying and stuff, having only just now starting work, and now settling into a work schedule where actually I might be able to only work 4 days a week. I'm actually going to have way more time for YouTube than I've ever had before, and it's regular. It's not going to change like in between term time and yada yada yada. I can take holiday when I need to, so like I'm only now reaching a point where I can have a regular cadence, you know, and I can get into regular schedules and things. So I think there's very much a part to play, but also I've always had my life come first, like, and it's never been negotiable, right? Like it's always been life first and YouTube as a hobby, whereas I feel like you've taken it a bit more seriously. I'm just like spitballing, but yeah.
I'm very touched. That was very kind words. But I think it was more.
But also, you suck, and I hate you. Sorry.
Think, like, I remember the day. I remember the day where you know, like it's like the 28th or whatever. You get your Google AdSense payment, and all that. But obviously, I get it on my notification on my phone, and it was like 2017. I was like renting a single room in a shared house and all that. And I got the text from my bank saying, you've been paid by Google. And it was like basically the same amount as my rent. And I'm like, wait a second. I could live off this. So that was kind of what it was like, I'm going to do this. That's why we really sort of jumped in and sort of like went for it. And like, I got very lucky because, you know, I was able to buy a house. And now that would never happen today because I had basically my NHS money and also YouTube to supplement. So, yeah, that was a motivation really, wanting to pay rent and, you know.
It was a magical moment very much for me, like when I made my Patreon, because obviously, so then having to redo a year and everything, I didn't want to go into like all that extra debt, and I was genuinely like considering.
You forgot you had an expensive thing, didn't you?
Yeah. So I was genuinely considering, like starting tutoring, like doing a little job on the side, because a lot of my friends did tutoring and stuff because it pays reasonably well. If you're doing it, you know, a mathsy degree, you can tutor a lot of stuff and it pays reasonably well. But if I did that, I just wouldn't have had any time for YouTube. So like when I did come back after my back injury, like I'm wondering if I need to make this thing multi-stage at this point.
What was a sounding rocket?
I'm seeing if I can hit the water with it. I think I need some bigger fins on it because it's struggling to be controllable at the moment. But basically, I was thinking I might genuinely like need to get a job, and I wouldn't have had any time for YouTube if I did that. And I made like the first video I made, I was like I don't know if I'm gonna have time for this and stuff. But you know, I've made a Patreon. Maybe if I get, you know, a reasonable number of supporters, then I might be able to balance this somewhat with my uni life. And then I just like, for the size of YouTuber that I am, just got an absolutely like overwhelming amount of support, and to this day, like I'm still, wait, how do I get rid of a part? Oh, there's a bin up there. To this day, I'm still like shocked at the amount, like how supportive my community is, and how generous my community are, right? Like for the size of YouTuber that I am, to have the number of patrons that I do, and I try to like create rewards, and I don't want to lock off content, but do as much as I can with the time I have to try and give back to those people. But like, it's literally because of Patreon that I've been able to do any YouTubing like while I was at uni, and like starting a job and everything, because otherwise I genuinely like would not have been able to pay the rent.
We're going to need all the breathing apparatus for a dive.
Oh, we got the Matt Lowne stream donation. Did you know that you're on one of my stream donations?
What?
You're one of my stream pop-ups.
I'm entitled to 50p of that pound.
It's you putting on your goggles to see through my lies. Use the tech points, please. Oh yeah, we'll do some research in a minute. I'm not really paying attention to the game very much while we're chatting. I'll kick you off the stream in like 15 minutes probably. Both of you all deserve the success you got by now.
You're not
I'm
on my
genuinely happy
esports
for
team
both of you
anymore.
being where you are now. Luna's sending us some really nice words. Thank you, Luna. That's really lovely of you to say. But yeah, like I was just saying, like I was the day that first like Patreon payment came in, and then suddenly like my rent was covered, and it's just like, you know, in combination with the ad revenue, and then boom, my rent's covered, and I was just like, it was just like genuinely like a magical moment, like very much the same sort of thing. But for me, it was the sum of both sort of incomes that finally pushed it over that threshold where I'd be able to do it, you know.
I was like, wait, you could make money on the internet?
I've been making like ad revenue since I started, really, since Collaborative Warfare. But it was always just pocket money. You know, it just stopped me having to get like a job to go, you know, afford to go to the cinema and buy alcohol whenever I wanted it. You know, so as a teenager. So I didn't like, you know, start like waitering or anything. That was, you know, so it was nice. It was, you know, a pretty tiny income. But when you're a teenager, like 100 quid a month is, you know, it's all you need, right? For pocket money wise, like go to the cinema and buy some things that you want. So it wasn't really until uni and then that all happening that then I actually realized I needed I never depended on it as an income. I never really cared that much. And that was the first time that I was like, oh, I actually, if I want to keep doing this, it needs to be a bit more sustainable. Because I'd never wanted to set up a Patreon before that. Like I felt dishonest setting up a Patreon if I didn't need a Patreon, if that makes any sense.
I guess it's weird because obviously you straddled going from full-time education to uni and now full employment for your YouTube career, whereas I was always, I started my YouTube channel procrastinating my uni finals, but that was only like 6 months and then I was working, so I guess I never really had. I remember during I did my uni finals and then in my summer holidays before starting my job, I bought my first I already had a Blues. I did my first ever KSP commentary video, but it wasn't a good year or so before that became a mainstay on my channel.
People saying game's too loud, Matt's hard to hear, so I'm just going to turn the game down a bit.
Probably the best.
Oh, it's gone up to full volume. It's supposed to be on 10. For some reason it changed back to full. There we go.
11.
That's what it's supposed to be on, sorry. Yeah, sorry if it's been loud, drowning you out for too long. This is the volume it's supposed to be on.
I mean, I've been listening to the stream, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, yeah. People are asking where my nail polish is. Being an engineer, so handling some slightly corrosive substances and stuff isn't really conducive to wearing nail polish. People are also shocked that I've got a beard. Whenever I have a beard, people are shocked I have a beard. Whenever I don't have a beard, they're like, "Who are you? Like, you're a fraud." That was the fundamental of your Beardy Penguin cancelled video.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant like people were shocked that you had a beard, and I'm like, what?
No, people are still shocked by it because the last stream I did, I didn't have one. Again, I flip-flop.
Well, our team name is going to be Beardy Brits. You better keep that.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I mean, I'm keeping it for the foreseeable future anyway. The reason I haven't had a beard like last year was because I shaved it like February last year for like a university drag social. And then so obviously like I wanted to go all out, so I shaved the beard off. So I had a beard for all of uni up until that point, and then I just sort of stayed clean shaven for about a year, and then I got bored of it again.
Are you going to wear nail polish to our esports event?
If I do, I'll do red, white, and blue nail polish.
Red, white, blue nail polish.
Yeah, I'll do the flag. Yeah, maybe. I don't tend to find I have time to do it anymore.
Chat, what should our costumes be for the?
Okay,
We're called the
right.
Beardy Brits. I've made like a flag
So,
file that we into the
I
Facebook
had a
file.
suggestion for for our outfits.
I feel like there was a very devilish laugh accompanied that.
So like this is like when you first suggested that we do this, I genuinely thought you were just joking. I didn't realize.
Trip to Paris.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't at the time. You didn't even know that it would be all inclusive. It was just like, oh, who wants to do KSP Esports, right? And it was only after talking to them, and then you're like, oh, it's all inclusive. But like while we were I thought it was just a joke. It wasn't until you actually contacted me. Oh, someone's donated. Hello. Honestly, I should be in British Explorer themed bearded drag.
Sorry, was that British Explorer themed bearded drag? As in, like that's the same.
The whole thing, like so, like a British Explorer, but also a drag, like a sexy drag version of it, but also, yeah. I don't know. Right, let me just add. Let me just.
You said you had an idea for a costume.
Yeah, I'm just putting it. I'm putting it on now.
Oh.
Not putting it on myself, but I'm putting it. Okay, for some reason, it's not popped up in my. What kind of file is this? It's a JPEG. I'm looking for all media files, and it's not showing up. All
JPEG
files.
is
Oh,
a
there we
very
go.
file, to be fair.
I got it. Oh. Maybe I have to select image. We'll try image instead. Oh, here we go, image. Yeah, I got it. New source. It's a bit of a pain to add. I wish it was a little bit faster to get like an image up. There we go. This was my suggestion for our uniform. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
For our outfit, a little Union Jack singlet.
The outfit I wore to the Barbie movie.
I didn't mean to move the game. What do we think, chat? I think we would certainly be a force to be reckoned with if we were in matching Union Jack sports singlets.
What's that?
What do you think, chat? I think that's a good idea, right? I mean, rep the red, white, and blue. Put King Charles's face on the black. On the back? Oh, on the back. Words. It's been a long week.
I've sent 2 suggestions to you.
Luna approves the singlet. You sent 2 suggestions to me.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. What we got? Oh, okay. Let's get that one up on stream. So this is Matt's first suggestion. I think that's.
I'm waiting in anticipation.
That's the kind of thing I would actually wear.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That's the thing I would just normally wear. Like, I'm not even joking. Like.
I actually own that suit, so I'm good there.
Do you actually?
Yeah, I wore it.
Is the
for
material
my,
like reasonable? Like...
You know those like KSP2 dev hype videos?
Oh yeah.
I was in one of them, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to do it on camera?" I'm not sure, so I just wore that. And they're like, "What do you want your title?" Every other YouTuber just had like, I don't know, Shadow Zone YouTuber, and mine was just Matt Lowne, professional Kraken Slayer.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm struggling to figure out how to make a tank. Oh, you got to make a tank longer before you attach it. Okay, that makes more sense. Let's just make this like a chunky boy. There we go. Let's try that. That's just the sort of thing that I would just want to own anyway. Like, is it like really plasticky and cheap, or is it actually like reasonably okay?
I mean, like, you know, it's obviously not like an everyday wear type thing. It's you wear this on a stag do and then never wear it again, essentially. Well,
but it's fine. You know? I'd wear it to work.
Oh yeah,
I could wear it to work. They don't have a dress code. Which so far I haven't taken the mick with, but yeah, okay. Let's have a little look at the other option while we watch this rocket launch. Let me just let me orient the rocket first. because we want it to go towards the water, and it's just like not been powerful enough to get to the water yet. Probably much easier to... Oh, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Oh, no. I dragged the wrong one. I was just trying to get it to fly itself so I don't have to bother with it, but... Oh, I think I've definitely lost control of this. Uh-oh. I've just created a short-range missile. Let's watch it explode, but... Okay, let's retry that one. Right, let's get the other suggestion up. What's this one? I'm not such a fan of that one. I feel like if we go... Even before we get to the Expo Center, if we're in like anything particularly Union Jack themed, we might just get like spat on. That's Matt's other suggestion. I think the space suit is probably... If we're in matching space suits, that'd be really funny.
We're literally called Beardy Brits.
I feel like if we had like a Union Jack tie, that would be good. Space suit and then like a Union Jack tie. That would be really good. So a little bit of combination of the two. What do you think of that?
When you say space suit, do you mean the suits with the space stuff on it?
It's called Smithy's space suit. Not a space suit, a
know,
space pause suit.
Space suits are also a thing, aren't they?
Yeah, a suit with the space stuff on it, and then a Union Jack tie. I think that as a uniform, that's going to be great, right?
But the space suit has a tie.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to wear that tie. I think a Union Jack tie with that could be pretty cool.
Smithy spared no expense getting fashion designers to create that space suit.
Right, let's. I'm gonna set the heading before I take off this time. Is it easier to go north? It doesn't look like quite as far. So let's try going north this time, because I keep missing the mark, trying to go the other way. That's the closest bit of water, I think. So
anyway, I hate to ruin a beautiful little conversation, but I've got a mountain bike race tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So,
well, it's been lovely having you on stream. Yeah, it's really nice chatting to you. Yeah, and I guess I'm gonna meet you for the first time in a little over a month, which is kind of crazy.
Before, though, haven't we?
We haven't met in person.
Well, you and Kanasa could have invited me to your little space center tour, given that I live.
You say Kanasa.
What?
Kanasa. You said Kanasa.
I said Kanasa.
You said Kanasa.
I didn't.
I'm gonna replay that.
Oh, I said Kanasa. Okay. My girlfriend just walked in the room and she said, "Yeah, you said Kanasa." So.
I mean, I didn't realize you were from Leicester. I need some bigger control surfaces on this thing.
Yeah, it's like my childhood, but obviously I wasn't looking at the nuanced colors of the Soyuz module. Like, what was it? It's meant to be for like the N1, was it? The Soyuz there?
No, that wasn't the N1 Soyuz. It's the low Earth orbit Soyuz. But it was the first ever. It was the first one, so it still has some of the design elements of it being a lunar spaceship.
That's it. That has something to do with the moon. I know that.
Yeah.
You got the simulator there. That's all I remember, really.
Yeah, I did the lunar landing simulator, but I don't remember seeing an MMU simulator.
Oh no, there was a simulator. Well, like this is like 15 years ago probably. There was like a simulator where you'd like fly to a moon of Jupiter, and it was like this big, loads of people, like lap bar. Great.
Anyway, I'll well, yeah, we didn't invite you to Duxford either, though we didn't make a video about that one. We just wanted a fun day at Duxford.
I was going to go to Duxford. Right, I'm leaving.
Okay, we'll invite you to the next one. And he's gone. Right. There we go. So that was having Matt on stream for a little bit to rant about KSP2 and talk about our little upcoming thingamajig. A little trip to Paris that we're expecting, which I'm really looking forward to. But now let's get stuck back into Juno New Origins. We'll stream for another hour and a half or so. Jedi Penguin saying, "No, I missed Matt, but it's fine. You can go back and rewatch it. This video will be up later, so you don't need to worry about that." Right. Yeah, we were making the standard KSP mistake of, so if we just pitch to 89 degrees, should be able to maintain control. But yeah, these control surfaces are just not big enough for a rocket this big. So we'll just turn a little bit, and then as we get higher in the atmosphere, we'll pitch over more. People are saying tech tree, tech tree, tech tree. Yeah, we'll look at the tech tree after this flight. I would need to read the tech tree and have a look at it, and while I'm focusing on having a chat with Matt, I can't really focus on the game. So I thought you guys would probably prefer that I have an in-depth chat with Matt, and be focusing on that while I've got him on stream, and he's obviously headed off now. How long do you plan to stream for? Yeah, I'll stream for another hour and a half, I think. We're really only dipping our toes into Juno. I intend to get parallax so the surfaces look a little better before we next play. But I'm enjoying this. I mean, obviously I haven't really been giving the game that much attention. I think this is actually turning at an absolutely fine ascent sort of profile. I think this is fine, particularly because we want it to go all the way over yonder. Would you recommend KSP 1 or Juno? I think they're very different experiences, but I think as someone who enjoys Realism Overhaul, I really enjoy the procedural stuff. I mean, I think the title of this stream is better than KSP 2, and I mean, it's a low bar for KSP 2, isn't it? But at least at the moment. But yeah, hold that pitch. We can probably pitch over to 45 degrees now. We're running a little low on fuel. See if we can really extend that range out. So annoying, we can't quite see our trajectory yet, but oh, we're trying. Alright, our engines are just about to burn out. But yeah, I think particularly if you're struggling to run KSP2, I think this, with the rigid body and everything, like if you want a different space game to play that just is beautifully well optimized, I think Juno is definitely something to try. I am eager to play this a lot more. I'm already quite impressed with it, honestly, and I kind of wish I played it earlier. I just hadn't had time to learn a whole new game, because it is a thing, you know, is to learn a new game. Let me just delete that source that I had for the singlet. Yeah, you know, to learn a new game right from scratch. You know, I've got thousands of hours in KSP, and so it's a lot of muscle memory to get out of when trying something new. But I think I was always considering doing a different KSP series in Realism Overhaul where I use Kerbal Operating System and use viewer submitted crafts and do all the stuff that I'm not really able to do. I think we might actually hit the water this time, guys. But yeah, do all the kind of stuff that I'm not actually able to do in For All Kerbal Kind. But I think, well, what's the point in doing that in KSP again if I could have that series in this game and tie into both communities? And it seems like with everyone getting frustrated with KSP2 and KSP2 looking like it's going to be in the state it is for really the foreseeable future, you can lock the velocity to the pro grade. That's good. Yeah, that's good to know. Is that? Aha! See, it's intuitive. I just clicked. I was like, yeah, probably lock the attitude to the pro grade marker, and yeah, you can. So I think more and more people are jumping over to this game and giving it a try, and the devs are clearly very passionate about their project, right? And they're regularly releasing updates with like community requested features, and even working with mod developers, like working with links to bring over parallax. Like that's incredible. And the modding scene in this game seems to be pretty insane. They've already got a real solar system, and I don't think that's even a mod, because you can even make planets in the game, I believe. And obviously, with everything being procedural, there are so many incredible craft that people have designed that look absolutely amazing. And I just think there's a lot of potential here to do a lot of things that you aren't maybe able to do in KSP1, even with mods. So I think it would be interesting, I think, to have this be a very different format to KSP1 as well. I'm very keen to have some kind of regular stream like this, particularly now with work and everything. With uni, I could just never do anything regular. Uni is just chaotic. So I found I struggled to live like that, honestly. I'm so much happier in work where you have your 9 to 5, or in my case 8 to 6 day, and then your time is just your own. You know, at uni, your coursework, dissertation, like there's no escape from it. You're always always got something to be worried about and something to be working on, you know, particularly during the degree that I did. I came first in my year. I had the highest Master of Engineering grade in the entire year, so, you know, little flex. But, you know, so it clearly paid off. And I got a job that I love now in a city that's a really nice place to live. So I'll be here for the foreseeable future. And I've got a regular schedule now, which means I can do regular stuff. I can have a regular upload schedule. Once KSP, you know, for all Kerbal Kind install is finished. The install is done, and I updated the save today, so the save now works. I just need to update all the craft, and then I can get stuck in. So very close to being able to produce content, and then produce content a lot faster now that we're in a version of the game that doesn't have ridiculous memory leak issues, and we're in much more optimized and bug-fixed versions of all the mods. So if you really future-proofs the future of the series for the next couple of years. Honestly, when devs care a lot about a project, it's really noticeable. Goes for Juno, goes for KSP1, goes for games with VR space. But when devs stop caring, it's even more noticeable, like KSP2 or VR chat. But clearly, like, this game was built in early access, and they did the early access model right, in that when the game launched, all the fundamental systems worked. Maybe there are a few bugs, yeah, but I remember seeing videos on it when it was still Simple Rockets 2. Like, the fundamental systems worked. You could launch a rocket, and it flew, and it behaved as expected, right? And then they've just built on that and added stuff the community have asked for, added mod support. You know, they've just built upon that rock solid foundation, and that's how you do early access right, particularly when you're a small team. You know, you maybe need the funding injection you know, when you've got the proof of concept and the promise of the complete product, but not just all the content yet. But KSP2, clearly, like, from the get, it was not intended to be released in early access. Else they wouldn't even be talking about 1.0 or, like, taking the approach they are. Like, it is a live service. When you go into early access, you need rapid update schedules, right? And bug fixing and making the game playable and enjoyable in the state that it currently is with the content that it currently has to be priority numero uno, and it just isn't. They're just like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're actually taking longer between updates because we're working towards 1.0. It's like, you're maybe like 3 years from 1.0, right? So what's the plan? Just nobody plays the game for 3 years? Because it's like, more people are playing KSP1 than are playing KSP2. It's just embarrassing. So if nobody's going to be playing the game for 3 years, why release it? Why destroy all the goodwill you had, all the hype you had? People would have happily waited another couple of years. I would have happily waited another 2 years, you know, and that was the overwhelming message from the community was, we'll wait. We'll happily wait. So and they didn't need the money. They were fully funded. I just don't understand. And I think it is just corporate greed, basically. And I don't blame the developers for this. And they're used to working, they're not used to an early access live service kind of way of working. And I'm a little baffled by some of the design choices, particularly the way the game works and the fundamentals of the physics and stuff. And that's not the sort of thing you launch the game and then figure out later. That's a fundamental aspect of the game that they should have had conversations about when they started. It's bizarre they're copying KSP1's homework there when that was a limited system, even within the scope of KSP1, and they're planning all this stuff. But I've lost my train of thought now. Because we completed the contract. We got about 100k there. It's a little disappointing you don't have like a little space center view. I do like a space center view. It took me a minute to realize this is like the menu, basically. Luna's saying, yeah, I work in software development. KSP2's approach is objectively correct for large-scale project, no matter the size of the team or release model, but Corpus messed it up. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think the exception is the physics. Like the physics, the fundamental systems of the game. Yeah, performance improvements in like the not modeling things that aren't in view and like things that you patch onto it to save performance. That's very understandable, right? Those kind of performance improvements that you can make, which is something you bolt on. But when it's performance problems due to a core mechanic of how something's been implemented, and that's causing a lot of bugs and problems with the fundamental systems that are built on top of that, that's not something that you launch and then patch out later. That has to be in the original brainstorm. I think it's bizarre that they went the way they did. But I'm a software engineer. I write software engineer for aerospace. And the thing is, in aerospace, you can't have bugs, right? Because if you do, people can die. It's called safety critical. And that's why you have the test-driven development. Like, you can't treat software like you treat hardware. You can write the test and be testing stuff as you're making every individual chunk. You don't make the whole thing and then test it and see where the problems are. That's a very outdated approach to software development. But in the whole, you know, they're working on 1.0 now. In a large scale project that's internal, absolutely that's the way it goes. But as an early access model, it doesn't work. And I'm just, as I said, I'm just so baffled that they went into early access. And yeah, it is absolutely the corpo's mistake, and nobody should ever have a go at the developers that they've got there. And particularly Nate, I think, because Nate is the face of the company, and the, you know, and all the outreach that he gets, people blaming Nate Simpson, and like, the man has clearly had all the right ideas, and like, with the exception maybe of the wobbly rockets, but he's had all the right creative ideas and for the direction of the game and where it's going. I mean, just, you know, look at the art style, look at the sound design, you know, like, the creative direction, as far as I'm concerned, is exactly where it needs to be. It's the technical direction, and it's the approach they've taken to release, which I don't blame the developers for. And if you ever blame the developers for anything, then it's always management. It's always management. It's always corpos. It's always, you know, never ever blame the guys who are like probably being crunched to high heaven to make this stuff work, you know. You know, I do embedded development, so device drivers and such, you can't have bugs in that either. Well, yeah, I do embedded stuff, embedded systems. It's called bare metal stuff, where you don't have like an operating system, right? Like, as I said, like test-driven development or even behavior-driven development. Google those if you want to have a look into them. Moving testing as early as possible, writing those tests before you write a single line of code, is very much the industry standard at this point, and it's something that bizarrely, like, is still bizarrely rare. Yeah, like, because look at how many space. I'm making a video actually about why engineers suck at software, in that engineers, right, like, software is always not treated with the respect that it needs to be treated. And like, I mean, look at Luna 25, look at how many space missions have failed because of software errors that with adequate testing regimes would have been uncovered. And like, they treat the hardware now at the point where like hardware failures are very rarely the cause of spacecraft failing at this point. You know, like, the hardware is rigorously tested, right, and designed with tolerances and everything, and then the software is just treated as some cheap and easy afterthought. And I'm making a video about this because it's quite interesting, and having started my job, interesting that having come from an engineering background, a lot of the things and the habits that they want to get me out of working as a software engineer within an aerospace company, right? I can't say where I work or exactly what I'm working on because it is actually classified. If I told you, I'd have to kill all of you. But yeah, people are asking about the Venus rover video. You now knew is asking about that. Yeah, I'm working on it. But with moving, like, I went traveling over the summer, and with moving and with like starting a new job and everything, like, it's only literally like as of like this week that I've been able to really get stuck into YouTubing again. So it's in the works. I've got some very exciting videos in the works. It should be out within like 2 months, I'd say. I'm quite excited for that. All like the high effort animations and stuff are already long since done because I had to do them for the project, but it's just writing the script and putting that video together. But yeah, I'm very excited for that video. Don't worry, it's in the works. Yeah. Hardware is metal and can be visually tested. Software is voodoo. It's not, though. That's the thing. It's that attitude and that, you know, that the normal testing approach to build the whole thing, then test it rigorously, whatever, it just doesn't work for software. You have to unit test this stuff. Anyway, enough ranting about KSP2. Let's have a little look at some of these tech notes. Max contract office 6. Max, okay, so that's managers, novice managers. We've got mechanical engineers. So you can use dead weights. You've got struts, blocks, and a ball. So just different shape things. Pressure fed engines, bell nozzles, Kerolocks. Yeah, we gotta get that. We gotta get that, right? There we go. Check your staging. We can actually get some stages. Yeah, gotta get that. Let's get all the basic like rocket techs, I think. Catch them all. Parachute radius. So we could actually drop something down to the ground. That's good. I think we'll do these like. We won't do RC enthusiasts. Maybe we'll do that another time. But let's have a look at some of this stuff. Yeah, so we've got like the struts and things. So that or the managers. We'll go for the managers. I think that's everything we can unlock for now, unless we go for RC enthusiasts. But we're going to go down the rockets first. You're here for the rockets, not the cars. Though it is very cool that they put a focus on that, which is something KSP's lacking in, really. I know they have the wheel parts and stuff, but they don't really have any good like rover parts and support for that kind of stuff. Guys don't do bare metal. I do stuff in C++ in free RTOS with microcontrollers and a lot of screaming. Yeah. With me, it's mainly a lot of embedded Linux, and I've never worked with Linux before, much to my nerd shame. But I'm on a grad scheme, so basically, like, I'm getting paid to be trained to be a software engineer. Like, all of my software experience, because I did a spacecraft engineering degree, is actually just like hobbies stuff, like making mods and coding, and like making particularly the Minecraft mod pack that I make, and you know, like a bit of KSP coding and stuff. It's always been hobby stuff. So all that, you know, I did a lot of computer science, right? So I know how the computer works. I know how. I'm very fluent in 6 odd programming languages, but it's all the industry standards, like coding standards and like shared workflows, distributed version control and stuff. That's all quite new to me. But I've never worked with Linux before, and at least thankfully, like, I didn't slap it on my CV. Like, they're like, yeah, you're doing Linux, and at least they knew from the get-go that I was not gonna have any experience there. But they needed basically, they've got the software engineering team and the hardware engineering, right? And they need someone who understands both. And it's such a specific skill set that they couldn't hire someone for the role, so they're homegrowing me over the course of the next 2 years for the role that they want to hire someone for. I would love to do embedded Linux so much with a more capable CPU. Yeah, it's crazy. My work laptop, tiny little skinny laptop, is like more powerful than my gaming PC at home. It's just crazy. Anyway, let's have a little look at some of these options, shall we? This one has a tutorial. Drew's atmosphere ends right under 80 kilometers. Okay, that's where it ends in this one. Can you go to space, expose a probe a scientist has sent me? Launch with the payload, launch in the village launch pad, reach 80 kilometers. Let's do this one then, yeah. It's got a little tutorial. Same rocket but with the vertical shot contract minus the nose cone, okay. Attach the payload, and this is what the customer wants. So, sounding rocket payload. Add interstage to split the rocket into multiple parts. Add another fuel tank. That automatically makes a little adapter there. Connect an engine. Goblin's solid motor. Goblin and gnome. I guess we just want the goblin one, right? Yeah, the gnome is a liquid fuel one, I think. Is there a snap so you can snap it onto like the symmetry? I haven't figured that out yet. I know you have symmetry here, obviously, but there's got to be a snap mode, right? They want 3? Yeah, they want 3 engines. Okay, cool. Close the symmetry panel. Drag the fin. Right click and drag to clone. Aha! That's cool. Yeah, okay. I need to do these tutorials. I know this isn't the most exciting stuff. But I need to do these tutorials because, like, it's the basics of the game, right? It's the fundamentals that I need to learn. I just started uni now and I don't nearly have as much time for my own channel anymore. Do you have any tips? Honestly, I mean, look at my history of uploads, right? During uni, the last 5 years. I struggled to balance it. I did a lot during the holidays, and then I scheduled stuff up to release throughout, even if it's infrequent. You know, it's much better to have a regular upload schedule. Obviously, I've never really had one, but much better to be regular than it is to be like often. So if you can make a certain number of videos every holiday, and schedule those out over the course of the next. That's what I'd recommend, really. It's good to have a regular thing where people know when to expect stuff. You can build up momentum that way on YouTube. Obviously, ashamed by the fact that I've never been able to do it. So happy that you feel that willing to train you for 2 years, getting to pay to learn is the best. Yeah, grad schemes are like I've got like a flying here. No, I think I missed it. Grad schemes are the dream, right? The staging for the rocket, staging for the audits activated. At least grad schemes, right, are the dream, and they what you want to aim for. They're so competitive though. They're so hard to get onto. I was first on my degree, right? First in my entire year, and I applied to 30 grad schemes, and I got 1. And it doesn't matter because I didn't apply to a lot of the tier 1 contractors like BAE Systems because they treat their employees like crap. So I was a little bit more selective, but also like, you know, I only got interviews with 2. No, I got interviews with 4, but like when I got this job, I didn't go to the last 2 because this one was by far the better one. Like it all worked out. I mean, it's a really lovely town. I love the job. I love the company. Yeah, it all worked out perfectly. I'm doing exactly what I've always wanted to do, right? So I can't complain. But the fact that I got one offer, right? Like as a grad scheme, you're getting paid like a competitive wage, and being trained, right? It's almost as if you're an intern or something, but you're being because you're a graduate, you're being paid a proper wage. So obviously, like it's such a great deal if you can get it, and it's great for the company as well because then they've got you locked in, right, and they can train you up for the specific role they want, and they like invest in you, and they get more out of you in the long run. But you need to there's a certain size of company to be able to afford to be basically a net loss with that employee for at least 2 years before it starts paying back. But yeah, like grad schemes are just the ideal straight out of uni. But they're just so competitive. Like they're always telling you that the world needs more engineers, and you wouldn't know it. The world needs more fully qualified and experienced engineers, but nobody wants to be the ones to pay to train them. Even doing a degree doesn't prepare you for work, right? Like you need to be trained up. You need years experience, and that's why a lot of people do placement years and stuff because they don't have to pay you much, and so it's easier to get those. And it's easier to get grad schemes then if you've done a placement year, but you know, I always thought that, particularly getting a first and everything, I know that's what I was always aiming for. I was like, you know what, I think I can probably get a grad scheme straight out of uni without doing a placement year. And obviously I did, but by the skin of my teeth. But yeah, I'm going to make a video soon actually about my Patreon, because obviously as of very recently, you know, I think like a lot of people supported me on Patreon because, you know, I needed that support very much so while I was still at uni. But I'm going to make a video soon about my Patreon and actually just be like, stop giving me money. Because obviously, like, it's not you know, it pays my rent. I'm not wealthy by any means, but I am capable of supporting myself now, right? So it's a donation to give something back, right? But rather than people feeling like that's money that I actually like depend upon. And if that's why people want to be supporting someone, I'd rather it goes to other creators who do this as a full-time job or a living, you know, other smaller sort of creators like me who are trying to eke a living out of it. As I said, like, I like to be very transparent with my circumstances. Otherwise it just feels dishonest, right? Having a Patreon if you don't need it. So if you guys to check before launch, second stage usually in stage 2, activate and do its thing before the payload can fly. Yeah. Drag it into stage 2. Okay. Cool. And that's stage 1, these 3 engines. So this is the staging manager, good to know. Okay. But yeah, as I said, I like to be transparent with my circumstances, right? I feel like it's weird. You see some YouTubers like almost expect Patreon support, and they're just like, oh yeah, give me money on Patreon, and I just feel like I don't know, particularly when you're like a massive creator, or even if you're a smaller creator, right? Like you know, in this day, particularly in, you know, everything going on, like it's hard times for a lot of people at the moment, and you know, I just feel like to be asking just like, oh, just give me money for the sake of giving me money so I can make more money, right? It's just, yeah, I know, I was raised to be honest, right? So I just think it's important to have people be up to speed with where you're at and whether you actually need that support, right? And then if you're not in a place where you're depending upon it, well, then they can support other creators they love, because people do have to pick and choose. You know, they can't support everyone. Everyone's trapped at the moment. And I would much rather that if that was the situation someone's in, that they then go support another creator. That's just my 2 cents on it. I'm sure there's plenty of people think I'm insane for being honest about this and not just seeing what I can get out of my supporters, right? But I just again, like, yeah, I could lie to people and pretend that I'm, you know, that I still depend on Patreon and beg for money or something, but I like to be transparent with people. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but that's my attitude towards it all. It puts a sour taste in my mouth. I've seen some YouTubers be like, "Oh, why don't I have more patrons? I should have more patrons," and they don't offer like any perks, and they're just like, it's just like demanding it, right? As if they just expect it and don't have a respect for the fact that these are people just giving you voluntary donations, right? I feel like you have a responsibility to justify that. Again, just my 2 cents. What's this type of rocket, a double stage? Yeah, so we just staged it. Why can YouTube give you ads mid live stream? I think that's on by default. I think that's a new thing. I can disable that in future if that's irritating. How intrusive is it? Wait until the rocket goes higher, then it comes in stage again to explode. If it's really intrusive, I'll disable it in future. There we go. We sent a little probe into space. Cool. Like how Aliens Rock is managing his Patreon. How Aliens Rock is... Who's Aliens Rock? How does he manage his Patreon? If you've got any tips or anything for me, then you can go for it. But yeah, I would do want to make just like an update video about my Patreon, because I know that a lot of people aren't going to watch this stream and know about it, and just be like, hey, just so you know, if you want to continue supporting me, that's amazing. But the main reason I decided to join the Patreon is that genuinely horrible joke I want to make for an Intercosmos mission. That's a good name of Kerbal. I won't spoil it though. But yeah, you should be, if not in the next episode, because I've got a couple of Intercosmos things lined up, and the episode after. It's interesting. All my I created the Intercosmos thing to try and differentiate the King Penguin tier on the Patreon, just to give it something that the lower tiers didn't have, because there wasn't much difference between it and the higher tiers, right? It didn't have a unique thing. So I created the Intercosmos thing for that, and then like none of the existing people in that tier like cared and asked for one. But since having done that, people have now joined that tier and become patrons specifically to get their names in the series, and then been surprised how quickly they popped up, considering the number of patrons I have in that tier and higher tiers. Bizarrely, like, at least to me, like a lot of my Emperor tiers just aren't bothered about it. I think a few of them don't even watch For All Kerbal, which is kind of wild. Yeah, I was surprised by how little interest there was in it at first, but since people have seen this fly, oh, I got it. There we go. Got that little bugger. Look at him. There he is. Blech. Gross. But yeah, there's obviously like a lot more. Get rid of that. There's a lot of interest in it now, because people are like, "Oh, whoa! You can get people named like Kerbals named after you, and then see themselves in the series, and that's really cool, you know." So people have seen that, and that's actually almost unintentionally brought more patrons on, who want to see themselves, and it's nice that they can see the Kerbals they asked for appear quite so quickly as they do. It's usually like the next episode or the episode after. Aliens Rock plays community voted games on Patreon with really highly quality edited videos. See, I don't want people to pick the games I play, but I do play games with my patrons from time to time. But yeah, like I don't want my patrons to like affect the content I make. If that makes sense. I always make the content that I want to make, but if I can include them in that somehow, then I like to. People are saying orbital rocket time. I think it's still a little early for that. Once you leave the atmosphere and free yourself from its drag, nothing stopping you going as fast as you want. Go faster than a kilometer per second. This is a progression one, I see. This one pays more though. Do we need the money? Yeah, kind of. If we want to build an orbital rocket. I feel like we've had a little go at the career, right? So how do I save the game? We got Matlan sucks. Does it auto save? Yeah, it does auto save. Okay. Let me just plonk into a sandbox. Ah, and this is where you can load other solar systems. Very cool. Let me load into a sandbox because we're not going to be streaming that much longer. Yeah, I would like a space center view. That would be nice. It's having everything on one menu. I'm like, oh, have I started the game? Or yeah, I want to. How do I import like? Here we go. I want to import like an aircraft. Here we go. Simple trainer. The wasp proof. We'll go for a simple trainer. I would like to just mess around with the game a little bit now. We've done a bit of career. I've sort of wet the whistle, so to speak. I'll probably learn a lot more of the game in my own time. And then probably maybe turn this into a... If people enjoyed this, turn this maybe into a regular thing, but into its own sort of series. I think people don't really want to watch me like just learn the basics of the game. Besides the very beginning experience. And just like my first impressions of it, but like look how cool this looks, right? And how detailed the thing you can make with fully procedural stuff. Let's launch it from DSC runway. You can launch it on the moon. Yeah, sure. Let's just have a little mess around. And also I do want to change the controls before I forget. This is probably going to upset a lot of people. But that's how I play the game. I don't know if anyone else does that with KSP as well, but here we go. Let's fly this aircraft. You got a little control surfaces. Let's have a little fly around their space center and see what's what. Ooh. How do we bring the gear up? Is it G? It's G. Didn't it love to see something like KSP or Orbiter in full VR for flying? That'd be really cool and nauseating, like your control scheme. You saying this, my control scheme is nauseating, or you like my control scheme? Should I turn off lock heading with that? Oh, okay. It flies beautifully without lock heading. So, oh, it's forward swept wing. That's cool. Yeah, it actually flies quite nicely without locking the heading. I was treating it like KSP's SAS, and it's not really KSP's SAS. Is there like a fine control mode? Not that I can tell. What's this button do? Ooh. Meow. Okay, let's have a little look at this this space center, shall we? Can we like lock the camera? There are definitely camera modes, right? Oh god, I didn't want to do that. Change camera view. Here we go. Space aligned. Chase view. That's what we want. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, that was what I wanted. Let me recenter the camera. Yeah, I knew there would be a chase camera. Cool, huh? Oh wow, we are actually like zooming along. We're actually through the sound barrier. Let's calm down there. Whoop! Wow, this thing's actually pretty performant. Flyby cinematic. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Flyby stationary. And then you got the camera parts on the actual thing. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. Now we figured out the camera. Cool. Your control scheme is nauseating. What's so nauseating about my control scheme? It's just I just don't like inverted controls. I push up and it goes up on the nav ball. I push up to go up. Like I don't think of it as on a stick, right? Is there a tower we can buzz? Oh yeah, there totally is. Right, let's cut the engine and see if we can buzz that tower. This is fun. Yeah, there we go. How do we go first person? Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Can I go first person, or do I have to have a camera in the cockpit? Yeah, I am flying. You can fly with a controller. That's interesting. You click on the guy inside. Apparently, canopy. Nope. C and V. Switch to the druid and go first person. Don't recall the controls work properly with them in this craft. Nope, it's not C and V. Or you press them at the same time. Nope. That's just a swap between different views. It seemed to be able to zoom into the cockpit. I have to literally like go like inside the cockpit and click on it. Oh, I do. I don't like that. Sensor camera, crew info. Flying like this in VTOL VR, very fun to your wings rip off because they were fully loaded with munitions and you pulled 9+ G with the limiter off. Are there gun... I assume there must be gun mods for this, right? That must be cool. Hit C while selecting... Ah, okay. Oh, I don't like this. I'm actually like looking around. Can I like lock my... Okay. Now I can't deselect the druid window. I don't like you have to like clip the camera into the thing in order to go into first person mode. That's a bit strange. And this is also quite nauseating, as was mentioned. I wonder if we could fly through that hangar. That would be cool, huh? Yeah, I don't like this. Let's get out of that. Oof. Use brackets to quickly switch between crafts, druids. Ah, I see. So you switch to him. And you press. That makes sense. Okay, so you don't have to clip the camera in to see him. That's cool. We're learning the game. We're figuring it out. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can fly through that hangar. Not going to be on this pass. I think that's definitely a worthwhile challenge, right? I'm just enjoying like getting to grips with the Space Center. It'd be nice if you had a little view of the Space Center in the career, right? I'm not entirely sure I like everything being done from like the main menu. Which I guess I know there are multiple bases, but I've got very used to a Space Center view in KSP, and if they do want to poach more KSP players, then that's an idea. Oh, first try. How about that? Mad. I didn't expect that to work. Not first time. Nice. I'm sure it looks beautiful with parallax as well. I got to get parallax. I assume are the mods on Steam Workshop, or are they installed manually? Because I don't mind if they're installed manually, but if there's a Steam Workshop for this, then that'd be pretty amazing if they actually have like included mod support. It's manually. Okay, it's on the Juno website. That's all right. I'll do that before the next time I play. Yeah, so I'm just gonna fly around a little bit and just chat to you guys about what kind of series you might want in this game, because like I am really enjoying this, and straight like as I said, I am a little baffled at the apathy that so many creators seem to show this game, and I don't think it's fair on it. Like, they're just like, yeah, like every video Scott Manley makes on it, every video Shadow Zone makes, they're like, oh yeah, and you know, you can do this, and yeah, I guess that's cool enough, whatever. Like, they just seem weirdly apathetic towards it, as if it doesn't have any charm. And it has a lot of character to it. I think there is definitely a missed trick in them not embracing the druids a little more. I think the fact that the career mode has pictures of humans in it, like, just immediately took me out, right? I think it would be so much funnier, as I said, if like you had the druids in the space helmet, as if they always wear space helmets, and just like in the outfits like over the top of their space helmet, right? I think that would just be hilarious, as if like they just naturally wear space helmets all the time, right? And I think like that makes a lot more. That has a lot more charm to it, you know, if the druids have a little bit more character to themselves, if they're not just basically just humans. And I think, yeah, maybe just keep the space helmets on. Don't show them to be like blue aliens or whatever. I like the little drone ship they've got there. Because then you are sort of riffing on Kerbal Space Program. But you can add a little bit more charm to this game, I think.
Breathing apparatus for a dive this deep.
Maybe something community-oriented for this game, especially considering it's a lot more simple and procedural compared to KSP. Also, the cowboy druid needs a hugely tall hat. That would be hilarious. Yeah, so I absolutely agree. In that, you know, it clearly takes a lot of time to make a detailed craft in this, but it is a lot easier to make a beautiful craft, right? A craft that looks accurate to something. But, you know, you're not using prefabricated parts to try and replicate stuff. So you can make really accurate recreations with a lot of parts, which doesn't increase the load on your hardware. And obviously people can design stuff on tablet, right? They can play the game on tablet. You know, it's very accessible. So, oh wait, can we fly through this hangar? This is a smaller hangar. Oh, no, that one didn't go. Oh, I mean, I'll take that. That shouldn't have worked. Bizarre. It's pure skill. All that experience playing KSP, right? Raw skill. So yeah, I absolutely agree that something community oriented would be great. Like I've always, oh, whoops, I buggered that up. Okay, like I've always wanted to. Kaboom. Let's undo that. I've always wanted to do something community focused, right? With community submitted craft. And let's try this one now. Something from a different site as well. So that's the Druid Space Center, I assume, DSC. Let's try the Village Runway. So I've always wanted to do something community oriented, but like my KSP series have never really been inclined towards that, right? And also we've always used a lot of mods, which have kind of made... Oh, look at those engine effects. I think they just improved the engine effects in the latest update. So I'm a fan of that. I hope this can pitch up. Oh, I had to fix on... Oh, God! Okay, let's try that again. Switching to the cockpit somehow meant I lost control of the spacecraft. Let's try that again. Yeah, everyone says that the graphics of the rocket engines have been updated. Okay. What was I saying? So, it's never really been compatible with the series, right, that I've done on KSP. And not only that, but I've always used a lot of mods, and unless you do something like Kerbal Rising, where I was literally distributing the game data folder, which we've since established is a bad thing to do, you can never guarantee that everyone has exactly the same mods as you, right? That they've done the installation correctly. So like even in Kerbal Rising, like people would like mess things up and submit craft I couldn't use, and you know it was difficult. I've always tried to have some kind of community interaction, but with the KSP series I've done, it's just never quite been a place for it, right? With this game, I feel like it's just perfect for it, you know? makes this ideal? Oh, I didn't realize right-clicking on the canopy would make it fall off. Our druid is just exposed. Okay, so here we go. So I take control from... Aha. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Okay.
We're going to do all the breathing apparatus for a dive this deep.
F-16 can be Swiss considering the first thing it did was crash into a mountain. Community is very community driven. Yeah, it's a lot easier to check craft. That's the thing. That's the impression I've got, right? In that it seems to just be very community focused. The devs seem very involved with the community. It seems very tight knit. It seems like a really wonderful community to be part of. Yeah, so that seems to be the deploy canopy button. I meant to click on it like that. I'm just used to right clicking with KSP. That's all. I was trying to get rid of this little thing on my HUD. Can I get rid of this little thing? How do I get rid of that? I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know if I can. Translation mode. Oh, I didn't want that. Actually, that's for docking. Yeah, I don't know. Druids don't have built-in chutes, apparently. Okay. But yeah, it seems to be a lot more community focused, and I think a community kind of series could work. I think a good idea, right, what I've wanted to do in KSP, but now I think this game might be well suited for, is, oh look, there's Mac effects, that's cool. Nice. It's kind of like a history of spaceflight thing, so not actually play the game's career mode, because the game, yeah, no, I think it seems decent for getting you to grips with the fundamentals of the game, but I'm not too bothered about playing the career mode. You know, it's similar to KSP's career mode, right? In that you start with like sounding rockets, and or at least Realism Overhaul's one. Where it's good for learning the basics of the game, but it's not the meat and potatoes that most people want to get straight stuck into, right? So I think we could do like a Sandbox enforced career mode in a way, where we just follow the progression of spaceflight, right? And where, as aforementioned, where I fly probecraft exclusively with the built-in code system they've got in this game, which I'm quite intrigued to try. Oh, we've got a canyon here. Beggars Canyon back home. Okay, we're going way too fast to be doing maneuvers right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot that I had the afterburners on. So I was thinking maybe what we could do is like each week have a stream. Need to get the grips with the game first, obviously, but each week have a stream, right? And pick a mission for that stream. So the first stream would probably be Sputnik, right? And you know, I'd probably design the first couple, but from then on it'd be like, okay, so next week we're going to do like pretty much try and follow the exact mission profile and recreate like one of the lunar missions, or you know, and we'll do it in maybe in the realism overhaul, like the real scale solar system they've got in this game. I don't think you need a realism overhaul because I think the engines are very configurable, right? You can set whatever specific impulse or whatever you want for them to match the existing rockets, and I can be like, okay, next week we're going to do so and so rocket, right? And we don't really need the map, well, actually, yeah. And people can design things and submit things, and I'll pick my favorite one and we'll make it work, and we'll see if we can fly the mission profile, like see if we can write the code to make it work. I wouldn't want people to write the code for me. I think that would be fun to be debugging that and trying to make that work myself, and just like follow the history of space exploration. So I'll be like, okay, next week we'll do this mission, you know, so it can almost be, and then so be just live streaming it, however many live streams it takes to do a particular mission, and then maybe do little summary videos for the channel on the live streams. The live streams I might make unlisted, just to not clog up the upload page. I'm quite keen to have them in a playlist, so that you know, you go into the playlist and you can see all of them, and the playlist will be linked at the end of every video, but the streams themselves become unlisted after airing, just so they don't clog up I'm a little OCD about my uploads page. Honestly, I might have more success playing this game RSS compared to Full Kerbal Kind. Yeah, it's nice to see people playing it though. I think now that I've made that installation guide, I'm glad I made that. It took a while to make, and to make this install, blood, sweat and tears have gone into it, but I like that. The afterburners only engage when you go above a certain amount of throttle, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know what you guys think about that kind of idea. What do you think? You can also clone the save file, save it to test the rockets that are the best 3, for example, and see what works best. Choose based off that or what you like. A lot of stuff KSP can't, like n-body physics, which we need to learn about from you. COADE. What's COADE? Is there does this game do n-body physics by default, or is there a mod that does that for this game? I know there's Principia in KSP, but it's quite buggy and unstable. For all Druid kind. Juno also has RSS mods, yeah. I do know that those exist. I know it's a lot easier to make planets in this. Like, you can make planets within the game, which is pretty sick. Oh, Children of Dead Earth. Right, right. Yeah, I've got that game, but I bizarrely haven't played it. I just never had time to get into it. I do want to play it at some point, but... Talking about Principia being made on Juno recently. Yeah, Children of Dead Earth. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. So I'm looking at the chat now. Only 2 body physics. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm looking at the chat now, guys. So, you know, what do you think of that idea? N-body physics, I know a bit about it. It was touched upon in my advanced orbital mechanics module, but it was touched upon. It was more like, these are the processes we use to simulate this, and the numbers that we feed into, and the approach to simulating it. N-body stuff becomes rapidly far too complicated to do by hand. Like, you need simulations and computers to do that stuff. So like I don't have that much of an understanding of it beyond the base equations, right? It just becomes a game of iterating and lots of different calculations layered upon each other. You have to have a computer to do. See ya, Kayan's leaving the stream. Land. Start the series with hot air balloons. Just want to say thanks. You're an awesome creator and I love your work. Thank you, Ryan. That's very nice of you. People aren't responding too much to the series idea. But I kind of want to copy like N9's N9SA series in a little way, and I like his format of having a separate series where he streams it and then just upload summary videos of those streams on the channel that are maybe 5 to 10 minutes long. I think that's a really nice format. Have the original video be live, but then summarize it later. Wish Juno had science. They feel any drive to go anywhere outside of what the missions tell me to do. Yeah, I guess I get that. But if we can basically create our own career mode, right? And I think the career mode doesn't seem to be like it's that much to write home about. But the game itself is actually, I'm quite impressed with. And I think it's, for the kind of series I've been thinking about doing in KSP, I think it's actually almost better suited for it. So I was considering using like KOS or something. But obviously this has got a little programming interface built into it, which is kind of like Scratch-esque. So I think if we set our own career mode and we follow the progression of space travel, I don't want to do just more Soviet stuff, though. I'd probably do...
We're going to need all the breathing apparatus for a dive this deep.
If you have any Children of Dead Earth, you do it outside of live streams, because my experience is very tedious to play and even more to watch. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do videos on it. It's not particularly like popular. It was a thing when it came out, you know, but yeah, it's not like if there's much of a community there anymore. I think it's something that I want to try out in my own time, but I was quite like, it looks cool. This is something I would try, but I don't know if this is something that I would really take to. You know. Drew has 2 major moons and 1 minor moon. Devs plan on making a career builder in future updates. I like the idea of the series. I just can't afford to support content creators right now. Eventually, don't use Discord. My active engagement would be limited. Well, the engagement really would just be through watching the streams. It wouldn't be like, I wouldn't lock it behind Patreon or anything. It would be a matter of, you know, put the files, because it seems to be quite easy to share files in this game, right? Be like, yeah, put the files up where I can get access to them. Be like, hey, next week maybe make this craft, and I'll pick my favorite one. Just I can have some level of engagement, and obviously still will be designing some stuff myself. I'll do Sputnik myself. I do probably the flagship missions myself, but some of the niche stuff, like, it'd be interesting, I think, to be able to talk about some interesting missions in space history that maybe are less well known. So yeah, like make our own career mode maybe, and just have a natural progression. Maybe do some alternate history stuff. Maybe do like Eyes Turn Skyward, or I don't know. I'm just sort of spitballing. I don't really know like the limitations of the game. I've obviously only just got it. This is the first time I've even opened it, so I'm very open to viewer input. I think I'm going to read the chat for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll probably bring Carnasser on and have a little chat with Carnasser if he's. I don't know. He was in the chat earlier, but I might message him and ask if he wants to come on the stream and have a little chat for the last half an hour or so. Let's ask him. Ask him if he wants to come on and have a little chat for a bit. We had a little chat with Matt earlier, so. Could technically do an RSS career if made. But yeah, I'm not sure I want to do a career mode. Like, I'd make it a natural progression as if it's a career. And be modeling specific spacecraft, specific rockets, limiting myself to their engines, real world performance, etc. In the real scale solar system, but yeah, I wouldn't like do an actual career mode, I guess I might have to have a look at playing Juno and get involved. What's RSS for Juno is pretty good, people are saying. Yeah, people say we don't know much about the game either, but this game seems to have a really lovely community, and I would love to just add to that community, right? Because it still seems to be a relatively small number of people playing it, but the people who do play it seems to really love it, and that was really what drew me to it. Was actually just quite how engaged that community is. KSP one also got public because I had constraints, yeah. If interested in raising custom careers, it's possible that Gentry may consider creating an editor for them. What's the Ember mod? We were talking about the Ember mod. What does that do? Yeah, so it takes a lot more time to properly decorate the Juno craft, but it's fun to design. I think you can get a much more accurate looking recreation, right? Karnasa hasn't responded to me. I don't know if he's about. If we do RSS for Juno, I'd love to join with some craft. No guaranteed they won't be cursed. Well, I think there would be replication. Oh, there's another fly. Oh, I got it. Where are these flies coming from? It would be recreations of real world. Oh! Whoopsie. I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the chat. Let's fly something else. 2 for 2 on flies this stream. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I love how they have like check your staging built into the game. I want to exit back out. Exit designer. Oh wait, there was a download crafts thing. Let's have a little look what aircraft there are to. Oh, there's Parallax. I see. Look at that. Okay, so like the Steam overlay isn't shown on the stream right now. I can change that. There we go. This is what we're looking at. Yeah, we do need to install it manually, but that's okay. Let's just go back. Right, so these are the craft. I assume you have to drag and drop them into a folder. Look at that! We've made like entire battleships and stuff. These recreations are insane. Yeah, I'll have to look into how it is you download this stuff, but some of these are really impressive. Ballsmobile too. It's just like they're like incredible like recreations of Soyuz, and then there's just like the recreation of Luna 25 there, which is pretty cool. That's the one that Scott Manley maybe had in his video. But yeah. Let me swap back to the actual game itself rather than the monitor. There we go. If we exit out and we grab one of the... Yeah, we'll do downloaded mods for the next time I stream this. Which might not be next weekend. Okay, so there's Soyuz. And... Yeah, let's get the trainer back out and fly it around again. Just want something to do while I'm chatting, really. I'm not going to do much more of this game, really, because I don't want to be, like, learning. So really, I need to learn to play the game in my own time. And now it's just an open chat about what people are interested in, really. Interested in seeing if I did do a series on this, because what I've seen so far, I'm really enjoying this. I think it's really cool. Actually, you know what? Let's try and fly let's fly something into orbit. Let's see if we can just fly a simple Soyuz into space. Soyuz. I'll launch it from the basic launch pad. Here we go. People saying download RSS. Please open challenges. Yeah, we'll do that later. Right now, I'm more interested in just having a little go with the game and just seeing what it has to offer, you know? Which way is north? I think that's probably north, right? Because that seems to point... Yeah, that's east. Cool. Cool. Robots taking over expansion damage. I know what that is. Hey, look, you got the little vernier engines and everything. Nice. Can we do a little flyby? Yeah. Don't know how to turn the UI off yet. I'm sure there's a hotkey for it. I haven't thought of trying. I did just try F2 by default since I used the KSP, but I suppose we should probably lock the heading to start with. Start pitching over. What's this to go to the map? Aha, here we go. So there's our apoapsis, 35. Okay, I see. Is there any way to see your apoapsis from this display? I believe there is. It's like this one. Aha! Here we go. We should probably like really pitch over. Trajectory. Here we go. So we want it to be like 80 kilometers, right? Or a little above that. Oh god, this is such an inefficient ascent because I'm still figuring the game out, right? I'm just going to fly it with WASD. I don't know why I'm flying it with that. Okay, we'll get the flight info up. F10 toggles the UI. Aha! So it does. Very cool. Okay, so once these are out of fuel... Oh, what? It does it automatically? Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. So is that like coded into it? To do that automatically? That's awesome. I've been playing Juno for 2.5 years and still don't understand Busy. Well, I mean, I do software engineering for aerospace applications as a job, so if I can't understand like a scratch, like programming language, then I think I might have to hand in my engineer card, right? So this is stage 4 next, so I can probably ditch the... Aha, okay. And then... Oh, then the hot staging as well. Oh, that's cool. They've got it all modeled. That's really nice, actually. This is nicely done as well. You got all the little individual parts it's made of. They're called a Vroz rather than a Soyuz. Are these little... Oh yeah, these are little RCS units. And even the antenna is like made of little parts. Cool. Visual scripting, so not too hard. If you hand in your engineer card, I call dibs on your job. Oh no, God no. I've worked far too hard for it. Please don't steal my job. Okay, what's our time to apparatus? It's 30 seconds. We probably... What is orbital velocity around Drew? Ooh. Yeah, we need to pitch up a little bit, probably to like 10 degrees. I'm not entirely sure I enjoy how like floaty the controls are. But I guess you like, okay, so you set your target. Ah, so this is the target that I'm saying here. And then, is it? Yeah, that's the target you set. And then it tries to orient the craft to it. So it's a very different control scheme to KSP. So it might take a little bit of getting used to. It's about 3,300 meters per second. Okay. Did you do a PhD? No, I didn't do a PhD. I did a master's. So I did a master's in spacecraft engineering. It was an integrated master's. It took me 5 years. Got to redo a year because of my back injury. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the engine plumes so far? So these are the new ones, right? I think they're nice. I mean, they react to the atmospheric pressure as well, right? I mean, you know, it's quite a relatively simple art style. But I think it's simple but effective, right? At the end of the day, like, you want your space sims to just do physics well enough. Oh, we've got an apparatus now. We can probably cut the engines. First orbit. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Nice. How much fuel is still left in that? Oh, okay. We always use all the fuel anyway. Let's. Can you see all the stages in like expanded? So flight log, translation mode. How do you see all of these? I know this is the activate thing, but how do I see the rest of the stages? I can't see that. 'Cause I know I can activate that. Oh, we probably should have deployed that earlier, shouldn't we? I didn't realize that was how that worked. Okay. Ah, that's nice. Oh, you can't see all the stages. You can only see one stage at a time. Yes, docking in Juno can be a bit finicky, so you can't really use the Lowne lazy method that well. Okay, so you can't see all the stages exploded, which I'm not sure I like, but I guess it just means you need to put a little bit more into your mission planning. This is really sensitive, like, roll controls. Yeah, it's a little bit floaty. I see why like people tend to just control everything with this, but there's no roll control on this, right? So so the RCS one, is that just R? Aha. Where's the indicator that your RCS is on or off? Is there one? 'Cause I'm pressing R, so that's off. Where's like the indicator that I have turned it on or off? Is there one like on the... Doesn't seem to be. Nope, there's no indicator. Okay. I thought there should be an indicator that... I mean, obviously, if I clicked on the part, it would, you know, show that it was on or off. It's in the action group menu. Ah, that makes sense. That was this one. Yes, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Because RCS isn't a set thing, right? You've got all your different action groups that you create. Craft in particular is a little oversensitive to input. Okay. So I assume you can just fine-tune that, right? Well, there we go. We got a little Soyuz. Have we got a crew? I don't think I put a Drew on this. Oh, no, I did. There we go. We're on a little spacewalk. The spacecraft seems to be tumbling out of control. What is going on here? Just stop moving. There we go. Uh-oh, our Drew is drifting away. Here we go, Yuri. How do we rotate you, Yuri? I mean, obviously, I know we can use this, but can we just, because the, oh, is he in translation mode by default? No, he's not. Use the tether so you don't fly away. Oh, I'm struggling to figure out how to fly him. How to orient him. He doesn't seem to want to. Left corner. Ah, there's a grappling hook. How do I use it? Do I have to like aim at it and then press grapple? Oh, there we go. Okay, we got it. I see. Can we retract? Oh, okay. We don't want to like fly into it. Uh oh. Okay. Let's retract him in. Oh god. Well, that went well. Yuri was not long for this world, it seems. Okay, so you can set keybinds to rotate the druids. I'd probably set it up so that WASD actually rotates the druid. Let's try that again. There's one called unassigned. Let's back away. Let's tether ourselves. What is it with this and just like freaking out when they got someone on EVA? Calm down. There we go. How do you... Okay, so if we go into... Oh, I see. Okay, so you can rotate them by going into first person.
We're going to need all the breathing apparatus for a dive this deep.
Not what Yuri expected when he got pulled in, but also yeet. How do we go up? How do we get up and down? Oh, I don't want to do that. How do we get up and down? We can go forward and backwards. They're trying shift and control, or R and F. Oh, F is tether. Okay, good to know. Q? Q is to rotate. Okay, we found out one rotation. Yeah, Q and E is to rotate like this. There doesn't seem to be like an up and down. There must be an up and down. I need to set my keybinds, really. Yeah, I'll set my own keybinds, I think, before I play much more of this game. These guys are kind of adorable, though. Again, I think there's a missed trick in there being humans in the career mode, right? Like, why? Just why are there humans? Again, like, right? It'd be so much funnier if you just had it like they all wore space helmets, and they don't even know why. Space helmet with a hat on top, right? Have a giant cowboy hat, and he can be Druid Dimmadome, owner of the Druidsdale Dimmadome. Druid Dimmadome, owner of the Druidsdale Dimmadome. How do we get back in? Enter. Aha! There we go. Okay, right. Let's see if we can return to the surface. Daft Punk druids would be hilarious. Yeah, right? They're all humans. Yeah, but they're called druids, right? Humans are boring. I don't want humans in my space program. I think they are both in... Oh, no, they're not. Okay, so transfer... How do I move them? Do I... How do I click what I move them to? Unassigned. We lost another. This isn't quite so intuitive. Hefty EVA transfer doesn't work on this craft as it predates the implementation. Okay, so we've got to go on a little EVA, and the craft's gonna freak out again. Bruh, calm down. There we go. Okay. Get our little tether. Someone should make a game where it's all fox girls, cat boys, and dog NPCs in the space program. It's too chaotic and half a dating sim. That sounds like the 4th layer of hell, rather than a great game pitch. But you know, sure. I think that's just me. Can we just? Aha, there we go. Okay. Let's see if we can head back to Drew. Kerbal Space Program 3. Are you saying? Oh, I thought you were saying Cat Girl Space Program was Space Program. Kerbal Space Program 3. I mean, you just want KSP with less lag. Isn't that what every KSP player wants? The whole, like they were talking about in that dev chat, like simulating rigid bodies, like as one rigid body, or even just like simplifying to a few different rigid bodies, like as if it was a cardinal sin. And it's just like, the way everyone plays KSP1 now is just auto-strutting everything to the heaviest part anyway. Right? Like, and real rockets don't flex. Real rockets, when the aerodynamic forces get too high, they just disintegrate. So you just set the, like, a force on a certain part gets too high, the part just explodes. It's not a feature, and they are so tunnel visioned on it. And it's like, okay, maybe if this wasn't tanking the game's performance to 5 meters per second, but it is meters per second, frames per second. And it's like, is it seriously worth tanking the game's performance to unplayable levels just to know that the cubic octagonal strut at the top of a 500 part rocket within 2 payload fairings is having its physics simulated perfectly? Psst. Nobody cares. Really, nobody cares. Like, even the whole, oh, I expect a bit of flex on my radial boosters. Is it seriously worth tanking the game's performance down to 5 frames a second so that occasionally when you badly design a rocket, you see a little bit of movement? And then you press escape, revert to VAB, and add a strut? What? People just want to build rockets that just work and play a game that works, for God's sake. Why is doing physics like this seen as some kind of unforgivable cardinal sin? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And KSP1, I have a lot more sympathy for it because, you know, the scope of the game, well, if you're playing the game within the scope that it was designed for, not building huge interstellar craft like I do, it runs pretty well. It's a good enough solution for the way that, you know, they built the game. And, you know, they built all the systems on top. They thought every update would be that last. It was built by one guy to start with. Like, fair. But when you're starting a new game from the ground up with the intention of colonies and interstellar travel, and whoever thought that just copying KSP1's homework was going to be a sustainable solution? It's just bizarrely incompetent. But anyway, that's just my that's just my 2 cents. Exactly, Deep Space Industries. There's no innovation. They've just copied KSP1, Control-C, Control-V, make it pretty, but also make the reflections like way too high, so everything's bizarrely shiny to try and cover up some of the defects in the graphics, right? And then start bolting stuff onto it, and it just doesn't work. It's got such a... you needed a new foundation. And if that's all it had launched as, is just a clean foundation built from the ground up by an experienced game development team rather than some people at a marketing company, which is the first game it's made by, and it just launched as KSP1, but it runs really well. It's really well optimized, right? It's a bit prettier. That's all it had to be on launch. at early access. All it had to be. And the fact that it's not even that, and more people are playing the original than the sequel, it's just embarrassing. It really is. And then to have them, instead of going to damage control and change the way they're developing the game, then to just almost like have contempt for the community and be like, well, you know, we're working towards 1.0, so, you know, you'll have to deal with slow updates. And it's like, again, if it's an internal project, that makes sense. Why are you working on colonies when the next thing on the roadmap is science, right? It's just not how early access development works. You need to keep people playing, you need to keep people interested, you need to be having a steady stream of new content if you're going to justify releasing an early access. And you also need to release at a lower price than 50 quid. Again, I find it baffling. I would love to know what the heck went wrong behind the scenes, because something clearly, a lot of things have clearly gone very, very wrong. They said the price was forced on them by the publishers. Yeah, I can see that. But I think everyone would have happily paid it. I would have happily paid it if, as I said, it launched even in early access in the state that that I expected it to be in. Like, I remember so many people being like, oh, you know, KSP1 mods add colonies and whatever. Like, the one thing, I said this in my KSP2 is unplayable video, right? Like, the one thing mods can't add is performance and changing the fundamentals of how the game does physics, right? That's the stuff that only the game devs can do. So yeah, let the mods add content. KSP2 could have been so well made if it was just starting to get the architecture right. They'd have multiple issues behind the scenes. Corporate fucked it up so much, probably. Still hold out hope for getting it somewhere there. Yeah, I mean, they're looking at wobbly rockets now. Now they're looking at long-term sustainable solutions. And, you know, they should have looked at that before they built a game on top of it. But, you know, they're going in the right direction. And they'll get there eventually. I just wish they just hadn't released it, you know. All this development and just continue going on behind closed doors. Because a game never recovers from a bad launch. People are like, oh, but it can pull a No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky, although now it's an incredible game, I've played it more recently and it's had even more updates since, it never came close to that beginning player count ever again. Most people have a bad first experience with a game and don't come back to it. You know, people don't have that much time, right? Most people are just going to refund the game and just move on to something else, right? First impressions are so important. That's what people seem to forget. It's like, oh, it's early access and, oh, well, you know, it will do a No Man's Sky. Like, the game might recover, but KSP2 really had a shot at taking Kerbal Space Program into the mainstream in a way that the first game never was, and making it accessible to so many more people. I mean, the hype train for KSP2 was insane. You know, the amount of awareness that was on YouTube, how well all Kerbal videos were doing in the lead up to it. And, like, the sequel has failed so hard that it's massively destroyed the size of the community in the first game as well, and the number of views that I know, like, fellow KSP YouTubers now get, even on the first game. It's about half what it was pre-KSP2. Like, it's sad. Really, like, a failed launch is something that a game never fully recovers from. And again, like, case in point, No Man's Sky, yeah, it has an active community now, but it's still a relatively small community. A lot of people come back to it and sort of trickles every now and then and check it out and see some of the new stuff and go, oh yeah, cool, whatever. But, like, you miss that opportunity to hook people from the get-go and have them, like, hooked on that stream of new content, right? No Man's Sky had a 1 in a million shot and somehow recovered and have a proper community. Yeah, again, like, they have a reasonable community, right? And that's fine. But, like, but I'm just giving you an example. Like, you look at the numbers for it, and if it had launched strong, it would still be a massive game, right? And KSP2 like had a massive opportunity to come out swinging in a way that even the first game, the opportunity the first game didn't have. Like there was no hype train for the first game. You know, it's just slowly built a loyal community over years, and then with the new game coming out, all the accessibility and everything, like they had like an open goal, and then they fumbled and broke their nose. I don't think you're on re-entry. Yeah, we are. See? We're gonna re-enter. At least No Man's Sky had an excuse for being broken. They basically had to start from scratch after the first trailer. Yeah, I'm not railing on No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky wasn't a game issue or developer issue. Like, it just got hyped beyond all, like, beyond all reason, right? Like the people just had this idea of what the game would be when it launched, which just wasn't. And the devs were talking about like planned features, and people thought those were expected, like promised features at launch. And you know, No Man's Sky almost suffered from its own success, and it was a small indie game, and then suddenly people were treating it as if it was a AAA project. Just like getting insanely excited for it, as if it was just, you know, magic, and it was gonna just like, you know, be way more than the small team could actually accomplish in the time before they launched. And I think that dev team, I think, is a wonderful case in point of really what should have been an early access launch. That's another. I think if No Man's Sky had launched as early access and then had gone into 1.0 like more recently, like that's the kind of case, because it is a small, really, Hello Games is an indie studio for all intents and purposes. They just sort of got a lot of support behind them. But that's where an early access model might really have worked quite well, because the game wasn't broken on launch, it was just content deficient, right? And that's the sort of thing where, and they've had regular updates, they've been very engaged with their community. And I think because people expected a complete game, that they were a bit burnt. But KSP2 didn't launch with missing content, which is what people would happily expect. It launched broken with, and the difference in No Man's Sky is there's no it's not No Man's Sky 2, there's no No Man's Sky 1 with a comparable better experience. You can barely see what's happening here. Can I up the like the ambient light? Here we go. That's a bit better. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There you go, the parachutes. But yeah, there's no like No Man's Sky for people to go back to. No Man's Sky 1, right? So the fact that KSP2 launches significantly worse than a game that already exists that people can just continue playing, like why would they play it, you know? It's a very different situation. I'm just using it as an example that the idea that KSP2 is just gonna recover once it's playable is laughable, really. It's never gonna have that shot at entering the mainstream ever again. It's, you know, the KSP community is going to come back to it, but again, it had a chance at making that community so much bigger and so much more inclusive, and I feel like that opportunity is just gone now. What are our parachutes doing over there? Oh, those are drogue shoots. I see. Okay, so there's a drogue shoot and then a main shoot, I assume. Yeah, cool. Only a couple of them are actively working on Juno. The rest is working on other projects. Yeah, well, I mean, Juno's, this is 1.2, right? Like, they released, you know, this is the game is pretty much finished, as I understand it. So fair enough, you know, this isn't in early access anymore. This is a finished game. One thing No Man's Sky didn't have is a 1.0 launch. Yeah. KSP2 ever gets big, it'll be through modded series like Scott Manning Stellar Quest for KSP1. Yeah, I don't know. Modded stuff does, unless your name's Scott Manley, it doesn't tend to do so well. But I would, yeah, people are talking about like Juno still being a niche game. I would very much like to play my part in trying to make this game less niche, because from what I've seen so far, I think this is a really sweet little game, and it's different to KSP in enough ways that I think I could quite enjoy it. I don't know whether they're better than I'll probably change the stream title. It's mainly just because I knew I'd be ranting about KSP2 a lot in this, but like it's just different, isn't it? But I think it just showcases probably a much more sustainable approach to handling physics, which I wish KSP2 had even attempted. Look at that nice little reflective ocean. And there we go. How do we cut the parachute? How do we cut the parachute? I'd say keep the title. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's just gone now. Oh, that's cool. You put the thing underwater and then you move the camera up and it like the water washes off the screen. That's cool. It's like the camera's got wet. I like that. Little post-processing little details like that are quite cute. Juno has very steep learning curves in terms of building craft. Once you get the hang of it, I find it's amazing, especially with the new plume textures. Yeah, I think there's a lot of configurability here, right? I think you can probably really make some really good recreations of stuff, and that's why I'm so keen to do my history of spaceflight series that I've been thinking about for a while. You know what? I might not do history of spaceflight. I might do Korolev, like space program. And what I mean about that is, what if Sergei Korolev had like sole control over the Soviet space program and some of those concept missions? I don't have any track. Got a new donator line. With the size, confidence, and passion of the KSP modding community, why do you think a community-made game hasn't been made yet? There's a big difference between making mods for KSP and making a game. I mean, if you want community-made game, just look at RP1, Realism Overhaul, right? Like, it's a whole different beast making particularly a physics simulator from scratch, right? To making part mods or making UIs and stuff. Like, it's a completely different beast. Like, yeah, particularly with regards to like messing with physics simulation and stuff, it's very complicated, and you need a lot of sort of expertise to do that properly, really, and a lot of experience with it. I think the idea of creating a fan game, I mean, you know, you want a small team to make a similar game. Juno New Origins, you know, similar game, you know, similar, you know, focus, but just approached differently, right? I'm not calling Juno New Origins a KSP fan game, because obviously it's not. But yeah, like, it's beyond the capabilities of like a fan thing, right? Give me a competent team in 4 years, I can make a fake KSP2 is better in every way. I can't believe it's not Kerbal Space Program 2. Yeah, like, at no point have I ever said with KSP2 that I could do a better job. I'm not a game developer, but I am a software developer. Well, I'm a software engineer, and I'm a spacecraft engineer. Right, so I can point out bad practice, bad methodology, bad management where I see it. And that's where the core of the issue is corporate and terrible management. It's obviously it's not the people working on the game. People working, they never ever go after the developers of a game, right? Or call developers incompetent. It's a very difficult industry to work in, and yeah, it always really rubs me the wrong way when people are like, oh, the devs are lazy, or the devs are this, or like, no, it's just always the management, right? The person cracking the whip, who aren't making the long-term plans, you know. KSP is like Lego, Juno's like playing with clay. Yeah, I like that analogy. But yeah, back to like Korolev space program. Like he wanted to do like build a lunar mission just with R7 rockets, with like a Vostok overseeing the construction of something in orbit, and have it send like as the original concept for Soyuz, which I sort of paid homage to with my Sever lunar mission. In For All Kerbal Kind, but I did use a UR500 there instead of using all R7s. But you know, this capsule was originally called the Sever capsule, and that was going to go on the end of this Soyuz train concept. And there's a lot of really cool concepts there, and how he wanted to do a lunar mission with 2 like smaller original like design N1s, and assemble it in orbit, do Earth orbit rendezvous, and then do direct ascent. And it goes to Earth orbit rendezvous, assemble it, and have the whole craft land on the moon and come back. And I think that would be very cool, actually. So if I was going to do a Korolev space program, might be an idea to do it here. I think I wouldn't have like the episodes numbered. It would just be about that particular concept, and you know, I'd build it in streams. I don't know. It's an idea. It's a bit balling. What do you guys think about that idea? Is that something people would be interested in? More as like Soviet rocket history and stuff? It's all stuff that I just know about from reading books on the subject. Competent team, not competent devs. QA, leadership, and corporate side is the issue. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. People saying cool, yeah. Hopefully cover the Soyuz descent module. Eggland, yes! Yeah, literally that, right? Where you have like you have like a Soyuz that's upside down, and the Soyuz lands on the moon, and Shadow Zone did a really cool video on some of those concepts, and they're all on like Russian space web and stuff. There's loads of really cool stuff. I think that might be more interesting than just a bog standard like history of space flight, right? Could you literally just call it like Korolev space program? That would be sick, actually. And if I am doing the code scripting and stuff, right? Like, it means I can after the fact go back and record the mission like flying itself for the final video. That would be cool. Soviet rocket history is pretty obscure and interesting. Yeah, it's the less. So I have a fascination with Soviet rocket history, right? Not because I have a fascination with the Soviet Union, and some people have. I think particularly with recent events over the past year, have criticized me for quote unquote clinging to the iconography, right? And it's just that it's still human history, and it's still incredible human achievement, and it's not only not celebrated but just not taught, right? And nobody knows about it, and there's so much really interesting space history that is simply just not widely known about, and I find it very fascinating. So obviously I grew up learning about Apollo, learning about Mercury, Gemini, but what the Soviets were doing, and a lot of the world first that they achieved. I mean, you see the memes, right? Like the Soviet Union, like first at everything, and then US first man on the moon, and then winner of space race in US, right? Like there's so much incredible stuff there which you just don't hear about, and that's why I find it interesting, because it's kind of so niche, and also they had such a different approach to a lot of things, different way of it's just interesting to see a very different way of doing things. And that's why I have a fascination with Soviet space history. But it's very much not me celebrating the Soviet Union as a whole. And I think people particularly confuse me being a socialist with me somehow being some kind of Soviet Union apologist, which is just not the case at all, Me making videos on Soviet space history isn't me saying, yeah, what a great country to live in, I support everything they did, because obviously I do not, in no uncertain terms. And particularly people drawing links then from that to then modern day Russia is just bizarre. It's like okay, so I shouldn't talk about history, right? Because the the state that then turned into later on is doing terrible things in the world today, like, right? Like, it's just a non-argument, right? Ain't a commie boo. Yeah, they're called tankies, aren't they? You can be a socialist and you can be a leftist without whitewashing all of the awful stuff, right? Like, it's the same way, in the same way that you can advocate for a capitalist system without completely brushing under the rug all the terrible capitalist regimes that have been in the world, right? Like, all the terrible things that capitalist regimes have done, right? You can it's a very broad ideology, and I've only really seen it implemented a few times because the CIA obviously has a habit of nuking anything with remotely leftward intentions, right? Which is why you don't see many, like, the whole idea socialism doesn't work. It's usually just that, like, Western nations tend to not allow it to work. But now we're getting political, so we're not going to get into that. But yeah, as I say, people say history's Ptolemy is saying history's history, it can't be changed, and just because it's maybe uncomfortable at times, I think it's important to learn about it and learn from it, right? But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end the stream. I want to say I am actually quite enchanted by this little game, and I really do want to continue playing it. I think it's really cool. If I can do my part in making this community grow a little bit, in much the same way that I feel like, I don't want to take too much credit for it, but I did do that with Realism Overhaul. I know Scott Manley played it ages ago before it was anywhere near as functional as it is, but like, people actively making videos in RP1, Realism Overhaul, I'm pretty sure the largest YouTuber that makes videos in that community, and it's a small community. And obviously, like, I'm not playing it exactly how the RP1 devs want me to, which is why I think there's a little bit of resentment there. They're not a big fan of me in their Discord, but it's got a lot more people, particularly with the installation guide now, hopefully got a lot more people into that community. And obviously Juno is a bigger community than Realism Overhaul and KSP1 is, but I tend to see it in much the same way. I think I can do some really, really interesting stuff in this game. I think it's got some really, really interesting ideas and handle things in a very interesting way. And yeah, and I think this sort of format, where I can make things work and design things on stream and then do like summary videos, particularly because I'm automating it all, so we can make something work in its entirety, then afterwards I can then go back and film that in a cinematic way for a video. I think that would be quite cool. Linecraft Man says, you got me into RP1, loved it. Oh, I mean, I'm glad to hear it, At the end of the day, we're just having fun. So if I can just increase the exposure to cool stuff that I think people might like, then that's great. But massive thank you to John Drew for giving me the game. They gave me the game like around when KSP2 came out, so like 8 months ago at this point. I just didn't have any, just with uni and everything. I haven't even played KSP2 more than once. I just didn't have time to try it, but I'm really glad that I have. Next time I play this, I'll have Parallax installed, and I'll probably be a little more proficient with the game. I probably won't stream this again for a little while. I'll learn the ropes, and my main focus at the moment is For All Kerbal Kind. I want to get that back on schedule, and I've got a few other videos like the Venus Rover stuff, and then once everything's where I want it to be and I'm on a regular upload schedule, then that's when I think I'll get into regular streams with this, once I've had time to get to grip with the game and complete the tutorial and the career mode. Yeah, there we go. Sponsored review. It's not sponsored. They gave me the game because they were keen for me to play it and offer it up as an alternative to KSP2. And they sent it out, when the system specs were revealed. Like, well, if you're worried about the system specs, this can run on a tablet, sort of thing. Probably not expecting KSP2 to flop quite as hard as it did, but yeah, it's not sponsored. They're not paying me. All my reactions to this have been genuine, and all my rants about KSP2 have been very much genuine as well. Right. Thanks for joining. We've had this, a good number of concurrent viewers on this stream, so it seems to be something that people are quite interested in. So yeah, maybe we'll make it a regular thing in future. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's tune in, and I will see you next time. For All Kerbal Kind, next episode, should be out in, what's the date today? It's the 7th. 3 to 4 weeks. I'm going to have another video coming out before then. I've got a collaboration with someone, which is going to be amazing, but I don't want to even hint at spoiling it. But I've got a collaboration with another YouTuber, which I'm really, really excited for, that I've been working very hard on. But yeah, the For All Kind install is finished now. We had to fix a few bugs and things, but the save file is stable, so I just need to go through and fix the craft and stuff, but I should hopefully finish that tomorrow. And then it'll be ready to get stuck in. And with the game running so much better than it was before, our mod install and everything just running so much faster and loading so much faster and so many fewer bugs and things. Yeah, it's really going to future-proof the series. We should be able to achieve that one video every single weekend, where we have 3 weeks between videos, but there's 3 of us making them, so you get a For All Kind episode every weekend. That honestly I think is very achievable, particularly with me hopefully getting into the 4-day work week of work and working 10 hours a day, Monday to Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That's going to give me basically 3 times, well, not even 3 times, it's given me 3 days a week more to work on YouTube than I had at uni, because I didn't have any days to work on it at uni. So 3 days a week to work on YouTube, that's just insane to me. And I think hopefully I can really start growing the channel. I'm really excited about the kind of content I want to make, particularly now I'm a spacecraft engineer. I actually qualified to talk about this stuff. There's a lot of stuff I'm really, 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 really excited to make videos on. So yeah, I'm kind of getting away from the sort of Let's Play-esque stuff. For All Kind will be continuing. Then this will be in streams, I think, and I'll probably play Mars Horizon 2 in streams when that comes out. But I'm getting away from Let's Plays in general. I'm ending To Boldly Go very soon, and then that's going to turn into a new series on Karnas's channel. That's the plan for that anyway. In the same save file. So yeah, I'm sort of moving away from Let's Plays and moving more into sort of general interest space and science stuff. So yeah, you got that to look forward to. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to everyone joining. Thank you very, very much to everyone who donated. Let me thank everyone individually who's donated today. So we had, obviously, Luna Nicole the Fox has been incredibly generous in this stream, so thank you very, very much for all your donations. We had Line, just scrolling through all the Luna Nicole Fox donations. We had an incredibly generous donation from Dakota Clark, who's one of my longtime supporters as well on Patreon. So thank you very, very much for the kind words as well. We got a few more from Luna Nicole Fox. Artificial Cookie Addict, thank you very, very much. Paul, as always, a longtime supporter of the channel. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for the kind words. Thanks for the donation. And that's that for the stream. See you, everyone. Stay safe, have a nice weekend, and look forward to that next episode of For All Kind within 3 weeks to a month's time. Okay, see you guys.